Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, not family. Welcome to the Liberian Perspective. All right, please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that bell notification. Oh, guess what? Don't forget to give me the thumbs up and make sure to hit that bell notification so that you, all right, don't miss the videos when I upload it to YouTube. Hey, family, listen, all right, I got to go ahead and get into this live stream. I'm already late. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. We about to work, baby. Sheesh. I'm so sorry that I'm late. Welcome to TLP Live at noon, guys. Okay, welcome. I am your host, Harry B. Guys, and the TLP means the Liberian Perspective. In case you did not know, I am about 6 minutes late on the East Coast. That's in New York. All right, guys, but don't fear. Fear not. I have someone to blame. Yes, I blame my wife. She has me working on the basement and in the garage. Oh, babe, we got to move this. People are going to be coming over for Christmas. And let's work on the garage. You got to wake up early. Okay, I know you like to sleep and all that. So I blame my wife. Who else am I going to blame? Can't blame the kids. They're at school. Anyways, I really want to thank you for joining me today. I want to thank you for joining me today. If this is your first time watching the show, whether you are watching the live and you're going to be part of our chat, Karen, what up? KMS, what up with you? I said I'm late, man. Come on. How you going to call me out? Love Moves, what up? Let me do my intro. Come on, Karen. Come on, KMS. Let me get over my intro before you start calling me out. Yo, listen, welcome to the show, man. We have a great show today. We've actually done this, I believe it's 5 days. I believe we started on Monday and we went all the way to Friday. So this is Monday through Friday, TLP Live at noon. So it's been successful so far. I've given opportunity for people to come on here while we are in the off season to still talk about the Buffs at noon, whether you're on lunch, you're running errands, or whatever you do at this time. If you're just waking up, if it's 12:07 on the East Coast, that means it is 12. Oh, that means it is 9:07 on the West Coast. All right. So whatever you happen to be doing, whatever part of the world that you are in, I welcome you and thank you for joining the show. You guys are already going. Angela Gaines, what up with you? I'll get to y'all in a second. But Coach Prime, okay? Coach Prime is the most hated. When I say the most hated, that's an understatement. He is the most hated coach in all of CFB. That's college football. So if you ever see that acronym CFB, you're like, what is that? I'm new to this. What is all of these acronyms they're using and NILs and all that stuff? All right. Name, image, likeness is NIL. CFB means college football. You and I are learning together. But yes, Coach Prime is the most hated coach in all of college football. Why is he the most hated? And then we can't just leave it there. He is also the most loved coach in all of college football. Imagine carrying those two weights. It's like, oh, we love you. Oh, we hate him. Oh, they're giving him another trophy, a participation trophy. Oh, man, Coach Prime, congratulations. You're the man, Coach. Congratulations for what? What did he do? Lose 4 games? Oh, Coach Prime, man, you won 4 games. We lost one we only won 1 last year. You're the greatest coach. You have brought money to Boulder. Money to Boulder. Is that what it takes? You guys see what I'm doing? I'm playing the good and the bad. That's what we're going to talk about today. And today, since it's Friday, we're going to have also a free-for-all Friday. Why am I yelling? Because my energy is crazy. That's just how God made me this way. So blame God. Like BBJ, the gospel rapper from way back, I don't know when I was in college. Blame God. Don't blame me for my crazy energy. It's Friday. You made it through the week, and you are here watching TLP at noon with Harry B. Come on now. What could be more exciting? Listen, guys, if you are blessed enough to be watching me live like right now, and you are in the chat like KMS, like Angela, like Marcel, like Marty, like Vonda, like Timothy, like Love Moves, if you are here live and you can call in, look at the top of your screen, guys. I will love for y'all, since it's a free-for-all Friday, I want you to please call in. Email me. That's hot tips for TLP Sports at gmail.com, baby. Just email me. I'm going to send you a link, and then you come on and we just talk our talk, because this is the place where you get to talk about Coach Prime on your lunch break or in the morning for you if you're on the West Coast. Come on now. Where else can you get this kind of information and this excitement from an African? Are you serious? And guess what? Every now and then I throw in some Liberian English, like, my pikin, what y'all doing so, my pikin? You're eating pan butter or you're eating gariba? You're eating pizza or you're eating lasagna? Let's go. Okay, that's my intro. Now that I'm out of breath because I'm an overweight dad, what y'all like? How y'all doing today? Okay, that's the intro. I'm over the intro. Let me just talk to y'all real quick. How y'all doing? Y'all talk back to me, please. Y'all know what type of show this is. You've been with me for 5 days straight. Come on now. You know how I do here. Hit that like button. Hit the like button, guys. Let's send this out to the stratosphere so everybody else can join the show. This is free for all. I have a little bit of topic just to kind of keep us going, but this is free for all Friday. I want you to give me something to talk about. I got stuff to talk about because I'm never without words and I'm never without anything to talk about when it comes to Coach Brown. And I got a little bit of gossip to start the show off. But let me just take a drink real quick. Let me catch my breath. What up with y'all? Timothy, what up? You love it? Yes. Amanda Guthrie. Jacksonville in the house rocking with me. Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Huh. Timothy Dallas is in the house. Vonda, the West Coast, is checking in with your boy. Where's y'all from? 1 Liberia, 2 Liberia, 3 Liberia. Take a breath. Yes, guys. Let me catch my breath because I'm about to go in. I got a pretty good show for y'all today. And if I don't have a good show, you're going to help me get this free for all Friday. I want this email to be buzzing today because some of y'all took off of work. Some of y'all can't deal with that Los Angeles traffic. Y'all took off on Fridays. I know y'all Fridays is a little bit freer than most, okay? I used to do a 9 to 5, so I know how it is. Don't play with me. In New York City trying to catch that train, that subway in the Brooklyn subways or in the Manhattan subways. Come on now, you get the dancers, you get the homeless people. You ever sat at that seat where if you're a guest of New York, and you come to New York and you see one side of the subway, that whole cart is empty, don't sit there. You understand what I'm saying? Don't sit there. There's a reason why it's empty. If you see everybody else over there, you're like, I'm from Texas. Try that Texas truth. I'm Vonda, and I'm from Los Angeles. Oh, look, it's an empty seat, guys. You got your whole family, your wife, your kids, you're staying over there. You're like, hey, babe, look, it's an empty seat over there. We're in New York. We're going to Times Square to see the ball drop. Look, it's an empty seat. It's a whole cart empty. It's for us. God has blessed us. No, he didn't. Don't sit there. Woo, I'm telling you, boy. Mississippi in the heezy. What up with you? Oh, man. Yo, man, I got a good show for y'all. But I'm catching my breath, as you can tell, right? ATL. Come on, what's this song by what was that? CeeLo Green? ATL. I was like, who sing that song? That song is infectious. When I first heard it, I was at a barbecue. My cousin throw this barbecue in Staten Island all the time, and then I heard ATL. I was like, who is that? My goodness. I'm from the South, and I'm like, who is that? ATL, what up with you? Did T.I. ever make a part 2 of ATL? If he did, I don't remember. I'm ready. Y'all ready? Let me get a yeah, we ready over here. Love moves. What up, my brother? What up with y'all? Ripley M. What does that mean? Y'all talking to somebody out here? All right. Vonda said the CU Buffs Coach Prime would have won more games than they did because they cheated them out of points and touchdowns and caused the whole entire year they purposely made them lose. All right. Yo, Marcel said I'm ready, so let's go. I got my breath a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got this dad bod that I'm dealing with. Y'all hit that like button. Let's go ahead and drive up this thing because the show's about to start. This bandwagon right here, the wagon is about to start rolling. All right, so let's start up. Let's start off the show with a little bit of gossip, okay? I got some friends in the. You guys be sending me stuff, so I got some over here that was sent to me by one of the constituents, one of the club members. Her name is Janet. Hey Marcel, you want me to send you the? You check it in, or you want to come on and shoot your shot? Let me know if you want me to send you the link, okay? Let me know, and I will send you the link. Marcel, talk to me. All right. Let me find that thing that I wanted to start with, and we're going to start with that. It's a little bit of gossip, so we're going to start with a little bit of gossip. All right, here we go. We're going to start off with a little bit of Sha Lewis gossip. Oh, Lord. All right, so Marcel, I'm going to send you the link. You'll be my first guest to join the show. But we're going to start off with a little bit of Sha Lewis gossip. Sha Lewis is starting off with a rocky start. How do you say that? He's starting off to a rocky start, and we're going to start off with that. Illinois, what up with you? Illinois in the house. Illinois here. Thank you, man. I'm gonna try to keep up the work here. Okay. All right. So give me 1 second. All right, here we go. All right. Send that. Okay. All right, Marcel. Give me 1 second. I will be with you just one moment. I need like a curator or a producer. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't want to cough in your ear. Let me just mute real quick. If you want to call in, you gotta email me, guys. All right, email me, and I will send you the link. Love moves. Email me. But apparently, Sha Lewis. Let's go ahead and get this show started. Apparently, Sha Lewis is off to a rocky start. All right, y'all remember? Do y'all remember when Coach Brown came in? He made that speech. Do y'all remember the exodus after the spring game? Sha Lewis apparently got his own exodus, guys. Sha Lewis, after his speech, all the smiles and everything, after all of that, guess what? Almost all of his starters and backups, they jumped into the transfer portal and they out of there. San Diego State almost ain't got no team right now, guys. Woo-wee. Yo, the man above, coming in with a love offering. Thank you so much for the love offering. I just came up with that. So instead of super chat, we're gonna call it a love offering. You know, I'm a man of God. I'm a church boy. Oh my God. Thank you, the man above, for the love offering. Let me send this link real quick, and then I'll address your question. Blessings, brother, from Texas, and salute to the Chatelac. I don't know what that means. Yo, break that down for me. Yo. All right, so Marcel, I just sent you the link. Just look right above your head, right? No, let me go this way. Right here is the email. If you email me, you want to come on the show, All right. Can B, what up with you? You go, hey, Can B, you coming on today? It's Friday, man. Enjoy yourself, okay? I know you ain't getting no work done today. You're not getting no work done today. So Kim B, you gotta come on. You're coming on the show. Stop playing with me, Kim B. Yo, Antonio, what up with you? Yo, Coach Matt, Coach McKinney, Coach M, you coming on today? We're gonna rock out today. It's free for all Friday. So we talking smack today. We're talking about why is Coach Prime the most hated coach in college football, or period. And then y'all can take it from there. Talk about anything you want to talk about. I don't care if you want to talk about any other drama going on with P. Diddy and his stuff and Jamie Foxx. Anyway, let's just keep it football. All right, guys. So, okay, I'm going to send you the link. Love Moves is in here, is in the building. I'm sending you the link right now. So y'all want to come on Friday, right? So, okay. So y'all like this Friday show. But yeah, man. So the man above, thank you so much for the love offering. All right, so my guest, Marcel, is on the line. So let's go ahead and bring him in because you know what I'm saying. People got things to do. We don't want to waste our guest time. So let's welcome Marcel to the show. It's your man's Harry B.
Yo,
baby, what up with you, homie?
how you doing, man? How you doing?
All is well, all is well. Thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate you, man. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
man, I'm blessed and thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate this. Thank you.
For sure. Man, talk your talk. I ain't gonna waste your time. Man, talk your talk, please.
Hey, man.
It's Friday.
Honestly,
we feeling good. We looking good, smelling good, and we about to get it on, man. Let's go.
Hey, just what you started with Sha Lewis with his mass exodus speech. Did that really happen for real?
Bruh. It came from Extreme Sports. Yes. He's got.
Wow.
I don't know if it's gossip, but I know from one of the club members sent me this. I woke up to it. The email came in, and it said, "Hey, bruh." Janet was like, "Bruh, you should see what's happening with Sha Lewis." I was like, "What's happening?" She said, "Look, he got a max exodus on his hands too. Everybody left, bruh.
Wow.
All his starters left." I'm talking about all of them. The corners, but he might get that quarterback that left us might go to him. But everybody that was on that team, they're gone, bro.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yes,
Yo, do you think he learned from Coach Prime?
Do I think he learned from Coach Prime?
Yeah.
When you said learn from Coach Prime, break that down. What do you mean?
I'm talking like, how to run a team, because he saw how Coach Prime did it, and he learned, and he took a couple of things with him. That's what I meant.
Sha Lewis seemed a little cocky for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you, but I think Sha Lewis, he seemed a little cocky to me. I think Sha Lewis came in. We all knew that Sha Lewis was not going to stay here because when you are a head coach and you're that young, you're not going to be spending too much time under another coach. You see what I'm saying? So you probably talk to them and be real with them, especially with somebody like Deion Sanders who probably has discernment and how open and truthful he is. He's probably like, yo, let me be truthful to this guy. He's like, yo, I ain't gonna stay here this long. I'm out of here as soon as the wind blows. I'm out of here, but I'm here. If you need me, let's work. But we knew Sha Lewis was not gonna stay. The whole media, everybody in the media knew Sha Lewis was not gonna stay for sure.
Right. Yeah. I appreciate you clearing that up for me, man. I appreciate that.
No, he was not staying. I think because the way that he handled his press conference, it was a little weird. But the fact that he was a coach and he was coming in and he thought that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he had knowledge because when you're younger, you tend to have that kind of like young energy, that young swagger. Like, I know my thing. I don't know what you think this is. Your son and all that, blah, 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 blah. There was some pushback because some things are coming out that are starting to the whispers are coming out. So I think he had some riff with Shador and he was not able to get his way totally. And because Shador's dad was the head coach and all of that, he couldn't really coach Shador the way he wanted to coach and the way that he coaches other quarterbacks. You need to have your quarterback trust you 100%. And he didn't really have that with Shador because his money was tied to Shador's dad. And the way that he handled Shador had to be different from how he would handle somebody else whose dad is not in the facility. You feel me?
Right.
So
No,
you can't mess
I
with the
got you.
money. You mess with your door, you mess with your money. So that's a young dude. He ain't messing with that check.
Right. So yeah, it makes sense why he got up out of there. Then
Oh,
that makes sense.
yeah, man. But he was embarrassed, so he had to go. There's no way nobody stays. I don't care who it is. You don't stay under that. Especially how deep Deion Sanders is, his army is, and you know everybody got a YouTube channel. No way he stayed after that embarrassment.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I have one more question for you, man, because
Yeah, man.
it goes back to a video, man, and I gotta tell you, bro, you were absolutely right about what you said about the trenches, and I just want to tell you that, bro. Like you called it first. At first, I'm like, well, he's all about, he ain't money driven like that. But you were right. I just want to tell you were right, man. I just want to say that live.
What
You were
was I right
absolutely right
about?
what you said.
I don't want to take credit for what was I right about?
But if you want those guys in the trenches, you got to dig deep. You got to come out the pockets.
Yeah. Did you were you part of the show? Did you watch the show where we talked about Coach Prime and the message that he's sending about the money? That may be off because in today's sport, you gotta pay. Were you part of that show? Did you watch that show?
I watched it, but I wasn't a part of it. I didn't go in the chat, but I was listening, and I was like, "Dang, man, he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right." Because even Coach Prime confirmed exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And I said, "Wow." I said, "Okay, I need to start listening to Harry B. Mo, man, because he
don't
called
listen to
it."
me, man. Don't listen to me.
Right.
I've only been right 3 times. But
No, but you called it. I just wanted to let you know you called it, man. You was right. Just wanted to let you know.
Thank you.
But
I'm gonna stay humble. Thank you so much, man.
look, hey, man, I appreciate you having me on. I really do. Thank you so much for this. This like made my day, man. Thank you.
Yo, you made my day. Thank you for calling in and making my show special, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, yes, sir. You have a blessed day. God bless you, your whole family, and man, hope the rest of your weekend goes well.
And you too, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for being part of my experience. Have a
Yes,
good one,
sir.
too.
You
Take
too,
care.
man.
Man, I got wonderful people all around me. Y'all making me blush, man. Look at my dark skin face looking a little red because y'all making my day special, man. And then I got another guest coming on, back-to-back guest, Love Moves. I don't know if Love Moves have been on the show before, but Love Moves is finally coming on. They've been in the chat and we've been talking back and forth, but now we finally get Love Moves to come on the show. You guys are making this show special. This is free for all. This is a free-for-all Friday, and thank you for being a part of TLP at Noon. So let's go ahead and talk to the guests, Love Moves, and let them shoot their shot. Just say whatever you got to say. Keep it respectful, but let's go ahead and talk. Love Moves, what up with you? You're on with Harry B, TLP at Noon. What up with you?
Harry B, what's up? How you doing,
What up with you? Thanks for finally coming on.
Oh, you're so welcome. First of all, I wanted to tell you, I am a lady. You always say, hey, man. But I mean, I guess it just seems like, hey, man, in the football chat.
Okay. All right, lady. All right, my lady. What's up with you?
I'm a 50-year-old football fan. I love Deion. I was a teenager in Atlanta when that guy got drafted to the Falcons and stepped off the plane for summer camp in July with a full-length fur on. That's my guy.
So you've been watching Coach since then.
Yeah, I've been around a really long time. And one thing that I think we have a little connection on is you went to the spring game, right?
Yes, I did. I was right there.
And did you hook up with the guy Chris from Alpine Sports?
First of all, pause with the hookup.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you guys linked up out there and enjoyed the game together.
We talked because I put him on the video that I made, the tailgate video. Yeah, we did talk when I was out there.
Did he give you a ticket to the spring game?
A ticket,
some extra tickets? Those were mine. I'm so glad they end up getting to you.
Word, you give them the tickets?
I did. Yes, I wasn't able to make it at the last minute.
Word, thank you so much, yo. That was you. Thank you.
That just tickled me to death when I saw you guys together and you told him thank you for some tickets. I just knew they went to you and that just made my day.
I had my sons out there, my wife, we was out there. We had a great time. So thank you. Thank you for those tickets.
You're so welcome.
This is a community. I love it.
I knew he was in out there in Boulder. He was the only one I could tell was actually in Boulder, so I knew he would know what to do with him. Now
Yeah.
that Coach Prime, I love him to death. The
Okay.
CU Buffs, I'm a bandwagon fan, and
Yes, man.
I'm not
Yes,
getting off the
man.
bandwagon for nothing.
I
But
need
they
one
got
of
to
those
shape it
one of
up.
those
They
noise
gonna have to
makers.
shape it up now.
Press the button.
But they gonna have to shape it up now a little bit.
Okay, let's go. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I like it. Let's go.
My I don't really want to call it a criticism, but if it was anything about Coach Prime that I would change is what I used to love about him when I was young and he was a player, and that's that bravado. I think he talks too much.
Woo!
I think he's having.
Be careful! Be careful! It ain't me saying it, guys.
It's me saying it. Y'all can get on me in the chat. I'm grown. I can take it. But
I'm doing one of these things that Africans be doing, like, woo!
I just think he talks too much. That bravado.
Free for all Friday. Let's go, Love Moves. Let's go. What is should I call you Love Moves or what do you want me to call you?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Let's go. Let's move.
Well, it's one thing to be, have all that bravado and talk smack as a player if you're the one who is going to back up what you're saying. And I think this is a new transition for him.
Wait, slow it down. Hold on. You just said a lot right there. Say that. Let's repeat that. Let's put a mark on it. You just said something that I thought that was like, say it again.
I said it's one thing to talk smack if you were talking for your own self and you are the one who's going to back it up. But it is a whole nother thing to talk smack for a set of individuals that now have to back up what you done sold out there. He just talks too much. I love him to death. I'm going nowhere. I'm with them riding it out to the championship. But he just talking too much. That's saying we're not gonna be an ATM. I mean, some of that stuff he says just need to be kept inside of his mind, not come out of his mouth.
Excuse me. I ain't said it. She said it. So, okay, let's break some of this stuff that you're saying down, because to be such a supporter and then such a critical, because if I was to say that, I would lose at least 10 subscribers. Okay? But
yeah, you know it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You dropping some stuff right there. So you're saying, let me just qualify what you're saying, because before people take it the wrong way. What you're saying is there was one way to talk when you are the one that has to play. When you're stepping on that field and you can two-step and you know how well you cover, because that's your gift. God gave you this gift. But you're telling me you're keeping that same energy for some kids that you just met 2 months ago.
Say it, Harry. Just met.
Just met 2 months ago, and you're keeping that same energy, not knowing how they're going to receive and exercise your message, and you're holding them accountable, and you're saying, yes, I'm going to win. Is that what you're saying? So we can make sure that we clear the room? So
that is exactly what I'm saying. I don't think that any of us can speak, with such authority and kind of, with a little swag and sarcasm, like in your face, about on someone else's behalf about their actions. If you are going to be the one to back it up, say whatever you want to. If you're going to be the one who get busted in the mouth when somebody don't like what you said, say whatever you want to. But I just don't think that it's right to talk all that smack and then send them people out there. It's like they almost took it out on his son, what he was saying.
Are you in witness protection?
No, sir. I don't need witness protection. It just is what it is. You can love somebody like you love your children, but when they're wrong, you want to straighten them out.
Wow. I couldn't say that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't say. Man, that's when I said free for all Friday. I didn't think I was gonna be sweating. Like,
these are only my opinions, not the opinions of TLP Sports.
Thank you. Okay, like these are the opinions of Love Moves, not the opinions of TLP Sports. Please, let's get that on the record, guys. Wow.
And I love them, and I love the team, and I believe in them. I believe, as Coach Prime would say, but that still don't mean you're not talking too much, saying some of the wrong things. It seems like I can see in a news cycle, because the news cycle's so quick now, where he says one thing and then it's backfired on him before the morning sun come up.
So let's push back a little bit. when you said talk too much, you know what I'm saying? Because you're grown just like him, so I can't question you how
Yeah,
you
I'm
talk.
51. Yes,
Y'all
sir.
both the same age. Y'all can talk. Y'all can do that. I'm a little younger, so I can't really say, a grown man like that talk too much. I can't do it, but you can. But the question I got for you is, how do you get Prime without the bravado?
I think he's gonna have to make an adjustment because coaching, at this level, besides that I'm certainly not nobody calling him daddy ball, but prior to, it turned into the college level in the last few years, he wasn't really. All of us have a learning curve when we get into a new position and start to play a new role. So I think that he's kind of in that, with this being a new role for him. And when I say talk too much, I just think that when you're running a business, I run a small business. Internally, there's just some things I don't say to the public, and I don't say to the people who work with me and for me until it is absolutely time to say so. What would I be like if I just went on the newspaper and started saying, I'm going to have to replace some of these dudes months before I'm going to replace them, and then I expect them to work hard for me? Come on.
Wow. Man, and okay, so do you think, like, the way that you think, do you think a lot of the supporters are thinking this and most of them won't say anything? But is this like maybe a sentiment that most people have? Like, he maybe, the swagger maybe for his playing days and not necessarily for his coaching days?
I can't really say what others think, but
That's a good point.
yeah, I couldn't answer that one. But that's just my opinion. I just think the swagger matches himself personally, but you just
Okay.
can't be swagging like that over other people and expect them to back up the checks you writing with your mouth. That somebody's butt has to cash, and it's not even gonna be yours. So I just think that's a little bit too much as a leader.
Well, I mean, that's definitely an interesting perspective that you bring up, and I can respect it. And y'all pretty much the same age, so that's your group. That's your y'all can fight over that, Auntie.
Okay.
Because y'all can sit down, y'all can have a drink and be like, hey, listen, Prime, let me tell you something, Dion, stop playing, okay? Those kids ain't like you and I were built back in the day. Okay, we knew that when those lights came on, we gotta be in our butt better be in the house. We ain't texting mom talking about, hey, listen, mom, I'm gonna be out for another hour. Okay, this is a suggestion. This is not. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be out. When could we text our parents and tell them, hey, listen, mom, I'm gonna be out for another hour? You would be hungry. Are you serious right now? So
No,
the generation is different, right? That's kind of like what I'm hearing a little bit.
yeah, the generation is very different. I have grown children and also grandchildren. And been there, done that myself. I still like rap music. I still feel cool, But come on now. It's just not how you talk to people. And we live in a society where everybody feels like you can just say anything you want, free speech, all of that. And that is true. But it's consequences to that.
And you think he's feeling the consequences when it comes to like the transfer portal and all of that?
Man, I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but
Yeah,
isn't it
I ain't saying
mighty
nothing you're
funny
saying.
that he goes
I
on
ain't saying
TV?
nothing you're saying.
Yeah, he goes on there and says he's not an ATM, and in 48 hours, everybody decommitted.
You think that was linked to it?
Absolutely, these are kids. They are watching your show. They are watching all the shows. They watch Stephen A. Smith. They hear all this criticism, and their parents are watching too. I don't know what make him think the recruits ain't listening.
Wow, you are dropping some stuff that's getting me into trouble, and everybody else sweating. I'm sweating over here. Jeez.
Don't sweat. It's just on me. It's just all on me.
Ooh, hey, listen, guys, put that on the love, okay? Love conquers all. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can
gonna
take.
leave it
I'll
right
take
there.
it.
Okay. Wait, is there any last words before I bring in my next guest? Red Panda is waiting. So what's up?
No, go ahead, Red Panda. Enjoy your show, Harry. I'm always a fan. Thank you so much for all you do. You keep it positive, but you also very honest. And it's some of the channels out there. Don't mean it. Well, we all know some just breaking news that ain't breaking. You don't do that. Some
Lord.
of them are so just everything is positive. They don't notice things that are not necessarily a criticism or negative, but things that could use improvement. Can't say nothing about Coach Prime, but I just want you to know I love the team. I love you, love Coach Prime. And but that don't mean that he can't be better. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for your views and thank you for coming on the show. You made it very special today. Thank you and have a wonderful day, Love Moves.
All right, Harry. Thanks.
All right. Well, guys, listen, man, we have different opinions out there. People who love Coach Prime, but you know what I'm saying? They have difference of opinion. Like they want to be able to say, hey, man, listen, Coach, we have different kids out here. We know the old school values. If you were dealing with your crowd or the people that were on in your crowd, or let's just say if you were just dealing with all uh one a bigger percentage, let's just say for instance, you were just at the HBCU. It hits different. But you're not at an HBCU. You're at a PWI and you are moving in a way that you will move at an HBCU. So we got to be careful how we move because at the cookout, when it's just all of us, we talk a little differently. You know what I'm saying? We can slur our words and we can say whatever we want to say. We can laugh. The way we laugh is a little different. We laugh with like our back and we fall out when we laughing. But when we with him, it ain't the same. So, Coach, love conquers all, and love is saying, hey, Coach, man, you may want to tone it back because you're dealing with a whole new set of minds and a whole new set of people and environment. So I don't know how you guys want to take that, but hey, we got a lot of other opinions coming. Let me bring on my other guests. Maybe they wanna have a rebuttal of what Love Moose said, or maybe they want to confirm and add their own. So let's bring on the other guests. This is a great show today, guys. I hope you are enjoying the show. Please respect other comments. Let's not be disrespectful. We're going to respect people's positions and views, and we're just going to have a good show. Let's keep it moving, guys. If you like the show so far, please let me know. Give me a fire emoji or give me a thumbs up, guys. Come on, I'm just doing my best to try to make sure that you have this great experience today. Let's go. What's better than this? TV? I'm gonna be on TV soon. Am I not? Hey, Red Panda, you agree I'm gonna be on TV soon? That's just me. Don't answer that question. What up with you? How you doing
Speak
today?
it into existence, man. Speak it into existence.
I'm gonna be on TV soon.
That's what we're talking about. You're gonna be on TV. Don't pull it back. You already let it out.
Okay, I'll let it out. I'm gonna be on TV soon. Y'all gonna be checking out in with me on TV soon through YouTube.
Facts.
I'll be on TV. Y'all can still comment in. Okay, I'm gonna change the game. I'll be on TV, but then
There
we'll
we
be
go.
having a little comment section, and y'all can
There
still
we go.
y'all can still be on there with me. Let's go. What's
There
with
we
you? What
go.
you got to say today? You want to agree with Love Move a little bit of certain percentage, or you got your own thing to say today?
I just want to start off with what you just said, right? You just
Okay.
said one time they're gonna see you on TV, right?
Uh-huh.
And automatically you start pulling it back out of the atmosphere. And I think a lot
Okay.
of times this is a teachable moment. I just want to push back on what Love said recently. First, I want to thank her for sharing because I think a lot of times the more mature followers don't really say anything, and I think it's good for us to have their perspective on how they see things. And the little younger guys, we can have a different viewpoint, right? But I think a lot of times we forget that we got to speak things into existence. And maybe when Prime came into the situation, hey, I must say this into existence. If we look at the team isn't what we thought it was. I think a lot of people are disappointed because they bought into the Prime vibrato versus looking at the talent and the structure and understanding what rebuilding is. But I don't like when we start telling one another to tone down. And if you understand culture, if you understand history, it comes from a certain place.
Okay.
And I'm very careful we don't be the ones that is now taking up that mantle of telling people to dim their light.
Mm.
I don't believe in that at all. For example, let's bring it home to Prime. If Prime dims his light, the school does not sell out the stadium.
Mm. Good point.
If the school doesn't sell out the stadium and get people reinvigorated of attending and buying merch, that does not have the active NIL or
Mm.
active collective. So I think let me be specific. People I don't think understand the difference between collective and an NIL deal. what happens is they're seeing collective being active, and then they want to compare it to Alabama. I live like 20 minutes from the UGA campus. They want to compare it to UGA. They want to compare it to big programs. Those programs have a history of people putting money illegally into the job. Now we come into a situation where it has become legal. So we
But
had to
before you
understand
go too far,
context.
let's deal with what you said about we driving a narrative about us dimming the light or telling us to dial it down, because that goes somewhere, and I want to clarify that, or I want to talk a little bit more about that so people can understand what you meant, and then we can move forward. But let's let's break that down a little bit. Where does it come from?
Well, to be
X-Men,
blunt,
what up with you? AK, I'm sorry,
that have
one
a
second. One second before you. Bobby Black, what up with you? Try the Texas Truth, what up with you? X-Men, hey, AK, what up with you? Harold Mitchell, what up with you? All right, go ahead. Break that down for the people listening, because not everybody is on that same wavelength.
to be honest, it have a history in racism and slavery. And then
Mm,
it comes to the Jim Crow era, or we could look at Jackie when he went into baseball and he couldn't be, he had to be a special type of baseball player. He's the first, he couldn't push back, he had to go through all the abuses. And then we, the community, started calling him like he's an Uncle Tom. He's not like us. So there's a culture behind this type of mentality. And I don't think people are understanding what they participating in when they go
mm,
down that road. Each
mm,
individual is blessed with a light to be a particular thing, a particular
mm-hmm.
purpose. And when you
Whew,
walk in your purpose, you're going to naturally offend people.
mm, man,
If
you
you look
preaching
at
right now. You dropping gems.
players, if you look at players from his era, they all have that thing. Or let's even forget from the era. Most players who are Hall of Famer projected or players who excel in the game, they have an edge to them. And those who
Mm,
silently had the edge, we learn later on they went through therapy or they did different things to let it out.
mm,
But I think we come to a place where we start saying, don't shine that light. Don't do that thing that is the reason why I like you.
mm.
Because
Okay,
because you are wrong white
because
folk
Love
now.
Move is not here, let's make sure that we're not kind of like discrediting or misinterpreting what she meant to say. Um, I understand what you're saying, and you're dropping a lot of gems. But do you think it's suffice to say that, hey man, the environment that you're in is different? Maybe I wouldn't say the way that I say it. Maybe I wouldn't say you talk too much, or maybe I wouldn't say, hey man, dial it down. But I would say you need to you need to you need to say it in a way where this culture understands what you're trying to do, because what came across before, where you could have said what you said and it would have worked for us, our generation, the way that you're doing it and saying it now, you can say the same things without appeasing our generation, because we know what you're coming from, but I don't think that they're interpreting what you're saying the same way that our generation would have interpreted that, and it's having an effect. So instead of saying like, okay, we just kind of talking, but instead of saying it the way you're saying it, refine your message so that they can reach the generation in the way that they understand the things that we understood differently. Is that fair to say?
I disagree with that. It's fair to say, but I disagree. Let me tell you
Okay,
why I disagree.
awesome. Go ahead.
You are not casting a web for the parents. The
Mm-hmm.
parents need to understand that the child has an opportunity to have an education. They have an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to get out of the city because a lot of kids are in situations that they one decision away from not being here. And I don't think we understanding some of the dynamics. Some
Mm,
players, if we look at the scope of things, they
mm-hmm.
have a little better situation. They have both parents. Their parents have great jobs, so it's not the same thing. And I think sometimes we have to realize that we have to appease to the players in the way they understand. If we listen to Sha Lewis interview when he accepted the job, he said one of the things he did about recruiting was to go and actually play PlayStation with the kids. So being relatable is important.
Okay.
We have to understand being relatable is important. She said something that I thought was amazing. I am not standing here saying Prime is above reproach. That
Mm,
is not my position. I
okay.
think criticism, and we want to sugarcoat it. Criticism is a part of the business, is a part of the job. You get critiqued by the AD, you get critiqued by the fans, you get critiqued by the investors. So let's
Mm,
not dance around the word. I think we try so much to be politically correct. What I want us to also do in the midst of that is critique him on the game and the aspects of things that you want to see improve. What we're doing is wanting to do that, but we've taken personal shots at the things that got him there.
mm,
So I can't be a person who been doing a particular, like I design.
mm-hmm.
I can't go to school, get this degree, have all this experience, and you call me in for interview because of my talent and what you like, but then you tell me I don't really like it at this in this environment.
Mm.
That
Okay.
is
So
what you knew what you get when you picked the phone up.
okay. So what you're saying is what Harold Mitchell is saying. He says, Harry, we don't have to be soft spoken or get off the sidewalk when white people walk by anymore. You will have to accept us how we are. That's kind of like what you're saying, in a sense.
Yeah, that's the essence of the first part. I just wanted to touch little things she was saying so that
Mm-hmm.
we have a clear understanding. Because I think what she's saying, there's a time and a place for it also.
Mm.
There is times we need to navigate and know how to navigate. But then we also got to be sensitive when we realize that barriers are being broken.
Whoa.
People don't understand the culture of Boulder. If you listening to DMVR and other programs, you start hearing them say those of the country club doesn't like Prime.
Mm.
This is
Well,
what was said.
don't go too far. Don't go too far right there. You said barriers are being broken because of who he is and because of what he brings. People who are not used to his bravado, the way that he talks and thinks. We do that. We do that at the barbecue. But what I'm understanding from both of you guys is, listen, from you and Harold is, hey, we got to keep the barbecue because that's authentically us. So if we keep the barbecue and not try to change us, then they can understand who we are, and other things might trickle off of that. Because if we keep changing us, then we're trying to become more like them. And then when it's said, then in the end, who are they accepting? Are they accepting us, or are they just accepting a version of them? Is that did I just drop some gems right there? No.
Man, you hit the hammer on the head because we often it's funny. We often tell the kids, be you, because you could be the best version of you could possibly be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a stage we cross when we start saying, being you is not good enough. I need you to assimilate something else so it's
Mm.
acceptable.
When is assimilation or code switching necessary? So that we
It
can
depends.
clarify, because we don't want to go all the way and say, well, never change. Because if you ghetto, if you all like this and you come to to like Wall Street and you like, hey, Mr. Customer, how can I help you? Especially when you at the corner store in your neighborhood and everybody's like, everybody knows that's exactly how you are. But let's just say you go to Wall Street and you start working somewhere else. You can't go to Starbucks like, what you want? All right, when is assimilation and code switching necessary so that we can clarify what we're saying?
I think when you go into environments, environment dictate policies and codes of conduct and ethics in which it governs itself. The only place we see in recent time that ignores that is the United States Congress. They have their own thing and they ignore it to their own self, right? But if you
Mm-hmm.
look at finance, if you look like being a doctor have certain recommendations to, but individually,
Mm-hmm.
the doctors are still themselves. They have code of ethics to go by. They have things of the bar that they have to have the prerequisite for. They got to go to school. They got to do all that. But when you sit for that consultation, that individual doctor is himself. I don't know if people ever had interactions with different doctors. They are individuals. There's the profession, and then there's the individuals. I think there's things of the profession that we personally think goes with it. It doesn't.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes when we climb in the ladder of success, we have to be relatable. So I don't have a problem with being relatable. Relatable meaning that people may not understand my vernacular, and then there's professional attire because that's what the job requires. There's professional interaction because that's what it requires. Because if you want to give it or create the barbershop environment and you working in corporate, there's things we say and do in the barbershop that is not coherent for a corporate environment. That is
Mm-hmm.
not, that's not code switching. That is literally doing what is required for you to sustain your job. It's a contract. A lot of times we forget when you go sit down for that interview and you gain that job, they send you the paperwork to sign. We just
Mm-hmm.
signed it because we want the job, but we don't really read the policies. The job is telling you, hey, we think you qualified. These are the things we need you to follow so that at the end of the 2 weeks or the month, we give you a paycheck.
Hmm.
It's not necessarily code switching. It is performing in the environment requirements to be successful there. If that is a problem for you, there's entrepreneurship. There's several different avenues in order to get there.
Listen, you ain't gotta work here. There's entre.
Facts
Yo,
is
you are
facts.
dropping some facts right now. You're dropping some stuff. But on the okay, let me just say hello to some people that are here. Um, the man above, Mr. Seven, what up with you? Keegan Park University, what up with you? I got Peter, my guy Peter, investor. AK, what up with you? Ken B, everybody. Hey man, we are having a great conversation. Listen, right above your head, hot tips for TLP Sports at gmail.com. You'll see it right in this section right here in that corner. You can call into the show. I've already sent a couple of links to a couple of people to come in. Right now, we're talking to my guy Red Panda. He's dropping some gems right now. So just before we continue the conversation, Love Moves was not necessarily saying, "Hey, listen, man, you lose your barbershop talk, lose your bravado, lose that." She was just saying, "Listen, at the end of the day, we need to maintain or retain these commits. So you're gonna have to do it in a way so that we can get them. All right, because they don't understand the language. All they're hearing is, when they hear that, they're leaving. So whatever you got to do to change it up so that we can get them to stay. Maybe they're not. Maybe that talk is not the talk that they need. But then again, Prom says he's not changing. He's old school. So he wants the people that can hear that, interpret it the way that he said it, and then those are the people that wants to play for him, and then he can start winning. Because if you're if you can't understand what I'm saying and you're gonna run away, then maybe you're not for me. Maybe that's what Coach Prime has been saying this whole time. I'm gonna still be the way that I am. I'm gonna do my dance. I'm gonna bring the DJ to the cafeteria. And hey, you racist white person, if you don't like this, then you are not part of us. I'm gonna still say the way that I'm saying, and you recruit. If you're gonna decommit, then maybe you're not part of me, and I'm gonna keep this energy because the second that I change, then I now get people here that are not trying to play the way that I want to coach, and then I can't do what I need to do. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. Let me give you a different example. When I
Go
used to
ahead.
work retail, I made my way all the way up to management, right?
Mm-hmm.
To assistant manager, and I was about to have my own store, right?
Okay.
When you go through those promotions and you get to those levels, these people might need to hear this. Corporate start putting pressure on you to get rid of the team under you. And I'm glad I
Whoa,
didn't
whoa,
call the
whoa.
company name.
Go back and say that again, because you're saying they start when you start getting to a certain level, they want you to get rid of your people.
When I used to work retail,
Uh-huh.
a major retail company that all the way, I went all the way up to assistant manager, and I was about to get my own store, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go, they tell you to pick your own team to guarantee your rate of success,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When doing so, those people coming in have to understand the company philosophy
Mm-hmm.
and your personal goal and philosophy, because you have to answer to corporate.
Mm.
I even go far and say this, like I said, I'm close to a major football program. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the kids I had, they were college students.
Mm-hmm.
I started to get written up because I won't fire them. I want people to understand philosophy of the company and you personally having your own philosophy. And I think a
Mm.
lot of times we don't understand when we go up these ladders how it functions. What we
Okay.
are thinking in our mindset to the positions we are. And
Mm.
let's put it back on prime.
Okay.
I'm a head coach
Mm-hmm.
and I hired a head coach to be my offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who understands territory and leadership, that is a clash waiting to happen if there isn't humility in the process.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we say, hey, they need to do this, they need to do that, but we need to understand the philosophy. Clearly, we can say was to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We can argue however we want to mix it left or right. The goal is to come in and to get the quarterback to run a particular type of offense.
Okay.
And I think a lot of times, whether it is right or wrong, that's where our critique and our opinions come in. And I think we should have them because we invested, right? We invested time. Some of us bought merch.
Mm-hmm.
We invested at that point. But because we are not in the inner chamber, we don't understand the philosophy.
Okay.
But every coach coming in has to buy in to the coach's philosophy. The reason why I'm saying that, I want to stick a pin. Now let's listen to what Prime was saying. I
Mm-hmm.
have a buy-in at 85% of the students and some of the coaches. He's telling us. He been telling us the coaches ain't all the way bought it and the students ain't all the way bought it. We saw recently that another college, the basketball player, the coach had to say he didn't want to play because he didn't have the right tights on.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
So
So
you make that
the
point. So let me ask you
players,
this question. Let me tie this question in from Yo Creole, I believe. Yo Creole said, so if we don't agree with Prime, does that make us racist? Because I think when I made the statement about, hey, when Coach Prime, because most people don't know that when Coach Prime had the DJ in the cafeteria, the way that he talks, most people don't know. But Coach Prime deals with things that some that seeps into the media that we don't make videos about. Some people are on Twitter, some people are on there, and they're calling Coach Prime a ghetto, bunch of thugs, and all of these things. Most people don't are not privy to that information, so they just think that when we say things, we just kind of just throwing things out there because we like Coach Prime. Coach Prime has been called a lot of names, and they've been called a lot of. He's been called a lot of things because of the way that he is, because he brings his music, because he brings Lil Wayne to the locker room, because he's hanging out with rappers and all of these things. So when I say, hey, the racist part, like hey, Mr. Racist, when you say Coach Prime, change the way that you are so that you can be a little bit more like us, that you're not necessarily accepting Coach Prime as he is, because then he's trying to just look like you. So I wanted us to tie that into what you just said. Like, if you don't agree with Coach Prime, are you a racist? That's not
But
necessarily what we're trying to say.
one of the things we got to look at, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe criticism and opposition to
One second.
anything.
I'll be right with you. I know you are waiting. Well, Red Panda's dropping some gems right now, and then we'll be right with you. But go ahead.
One of the things I want us to know as a community, whether you white, you black, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
criticism and opposition is great catalyst for change. It has always been, right?
Okay.
When executed correctly. For
Mm-hmm.
example, if we dealing with Prime, the critiques are, hey, they need to run the ball better. As a first-time coach, we want to see these type of plays, different schemes. We keep it about football
Okay.
because that's what we critiquing. The comments, however, are saying things like Shador is a thug because of his watch celebration.
Mm.
We have to look at the coding of what's being said. We have to look at the critiquing of what's being said. All critique the coach, but then when you start critiquing his son and saying they thugs, and do I need to go through the list of players that have celebrations?
Mm. Johnny Manziel with the money.
I don't think that people are allowing the thought process to really understand that, hey, these are now code switching words they're using now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you just did was redefine what a thug was. The kid never been in trouble. The kid
Mm-hmm.
never did anything. So when you start doing that, you start having a whole slew of younger generations and older generations from them cold times coming into agreement in a negative way to something that is not happening. This is football. It always had celebrations. It always had. So let's even use Shiloh.
Okay.
The hit that Shiloh got ejected for versus the hit that was on Travis versus
Right.
Colorado State. No ejection,
Mm-hmm.
no penalty. And then they want to use that to say he tackles this type of. We have to understand what is happening. So that's why I made the statement earlier, and I made it from people who live there, who are part of the culture. They were saying, hey, the country club elites didn't like Prime.
Mm.
I want you all to go back on their network
Mm-hmm.
and listen to what they saying. And they were pushing back. Even the Mac guy was saying, we know this, and they could kick rocks. Go back and look at it. They who live there, who've been Colorado fans before us, is telling you the culture of Colorado isn't Prime.
Mm.
And then when you think about it, the culture that they have was not successful. The last successful team was 1994.
Hmm.
So they have a 20-year run of mediocre performance till the point where they couldn't retain any sellouts in the stadium. So I caution us to that energy where we have this shut up and dance mentality, shut up and play ball mentality,
Mm.
shut up and just do the thing that entertains me mentality. So
Mm.
I caution when we say these things, understand where it's coming from. That does not mean do not critique Prime,
Mm.
because I could tell you Shador holds the ball too long. I could tell you even when he, a matter of fact, you mentioned it, Harry B, when you talked about how he does the handoff.
Mhm.
The quarterback who played the last game, he sells the run perfectly.
Yeah, he
He
does.
actually does that better than Shador.
Ryan Stubbs.
I
Shador
am
doesn't know.
mature enough.
Shador doesn't know how to hand the ball off. I'm gonna critique. If I see him in person, I'll be like, bro, learn how to hand the freaking ball off and stop playing with me, son.
And that's what I'm saying. That is a critique because we're making it about the sport,
And
about
not
his
personal.
abilities that can improve. It is not personal. And we have to understand the difference between critiquing the sport and participating in
Personal attack.
elitism.
So okay, we're gonna have to leave it right there with you. That you have been dropped in a lot of gems, man. Listen, man, I gotta have you back on, but let me bring on my other
Let
guest,
me
BP.
say this one.
Yeah, your
Let me
final
say
thoughts
this
before
one
we bring my
point
guy BP on. Go ahead.
I kick out.
Go ahead.
You mentioned you being a man of faith, right?
Yes, I'm a
Before
man of God.
God, right? Being a man of God, before Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, he made a
You better
point
lose.
to tell all the
I'm about to
non-believers.
lose at least 10 people talking religious. But go ahead. It's all good.
Nah, facts is facts. Before Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead, he told the non-believers to leave. And I think a lot of times we got to be comfortable with who you are to tell the non-believers it's okay to go. That's
Woo.
why I
Okay.
told you earlier when you said, hey, I'm going to be on TV, don't let nothing take you out of that mentality because you just birded something. Prime is hated for being himself. And the funny thing is, people are making money off his name by speaking positive, and they're making money by speaking negative. We seen something happening. And I just think we had to be patient to let it happen. Any true football fan, forget Prime, it takes 3 to 4 years to rebuild. And I'm going to leave on that note. I want to bless you. Keep going on, bro. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you
And
so much.
it is okay to compete Prime, but just keep it about football, not the
Thank you, man.
extra stuff.
I appreciate you coming on. Thanks for those words.
Hey, bless up, man.
All right, bless up. Take care. Listen, man, if you want to call into the show, guys, I have sent out links to a couple of other people. I got BP on the line right now. He's going to come on and or he or she, I think BP is it's a guy. But anyway, hot tips for tlpsports@gmail.com. Guys, listen, you're only going to get this conversation here on this channel, okay? You're not DMVR Buff Sports. They can only teeter on the outskirts of the conversation that I'm having like this, okay? You ain't going to get this conversation anywhere but right here, TLP at Known, or at least here with your man Harry B. We're going to talk football. We can also go into religion or go into anything else that we want to talk about here. This is Free for All Friday. So let's keep the conversation going. I'm bringing my guy BP on right now. BP, here you go. What up with you?
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening? What's that? You are on with Harry B and TLP at Noon. Say your talk, okay? What you got to say today? How
What
you
up,
doing?
Harry B?
All is
Hey,
well.
listen,
Yeah,
I
man.
don't want to talk about the other caller. I think I agree with a lot of stuff he was saying. The only thing is I think he was doing a little bit of shape shifting, where part of the conversation was, in the first, be who you are, come as you are. I think it was kind of like that. And then it was, yeah, I've been on the other end in corporate culture. And maybe he had a hand in firing some people who did all that.
Okay.
So, I get it. You got to play the game when you're in a corporate environment. But I think toward the end, he kind of leveled out, and I think I got what he was saying. But let me get to what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
All right. So one point I want to build on in terms of what he was saying is celebrations. He was saying there's always been celebrations in football.
Okay.
Okay. And then he said, well, there's a
I
culture that
brought that up because somebody was talking about, I think Yo Creole, I believe, Yo Creole said, if you believe in Prime or Shador celebrating was a careless thing. So I kind of brought that up because what somebody else said, and he was kind of expounding on that.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I'm kind of around Prime's era. I came up and saw Prime play. I've seen celebrations in the end zone. I've seen celebrations go away. I've seen celebrations come and go. I've seen them tempered in terms of how much you can do celebrating. I think we kind of can do a little bit of celebrating, but not much now. But in any case, celebrations have a common denominator.
What's that?
Well, let me get to that in a sec.
Okay.
Colorado's culture has a common denominator that doesn't align with celebrations.
And what is that? You're getting to
Winning.
Wait, what?
Winning.
1991, they won the championship. What's up?
Winning.
Okay.
When you see somebody celebrating, what have they generally done?
Won,
or scored, or
Come
done
on,
something
man.
positive.
I can't ride with this. Are you kidding me? What?
Hold on.
That's you're teetering. You're teetering, but go ahead.
Ride with me.
I'm gonna ride for a second. Go ahead.
All right. So
what we riding in? A Chevy or
we in a Cadillac, bro. We in an Escalade.
In a Cadillac.
We in an ESV Escalade with plenty of seats in it.
Okay, let's go.
Heated and cool seats and everything. Just lay back and ride with me for a minute.
My man BP, let's go.
Ease back. I got you, bro. You good.
Okay.
And, I know you're religious, so you're not going to light one up. But theoretically, light one up and ride with me for a sec. You good, bro.
Okay.
All right? But the common denominator is winning. So I don't care what you bring in terms of your personality, whether you got purple hair, blue hair, you throwing splits, you like James, what's his name, the dancer, the singer, James Brown. You throwing splits in the middle of the floor. Do you know how many white people probably looked at that when he first did that? I was like, who is this guy? But what was the common denominator? He put a product out that was winning. And at the end of the day, you got white, black, Chinese, everybody doing splits and talking about, hey, they want to be as bad as James Brown is. But before that, they probably shocked him. So anyway, I don't buy I got to be me regardless if you're coming into a culture, right? Let me peel that back. Let's use African culture because you're from Liberia, right?
Yes, I am.
Right. And I'm assuming you're familiar with other African cultures and other African countries, right? All right. Would you say that there are a lot of African countries that are conservative?
Yeah, of course.
Their population,
like Egypt. Egypt is very conservative.
Exactly. So without, I don't want to put you in a place, but are there some African people who might see?
I'm a rebel. So
well, I'm saying, are there some African people who might look upon African American culture and how they sometimes, and even just American culture, period, and how they sometimes come in and, blaster and bolster and do things that aren't in that African culture. And they say, okay, that's a little different. Maybe I don't like that much, but all right, fine. Or maybe some people feel more strongly about it.
Say that again, because I think I missed that. I missed it.
What I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to make, the larger point I'm trying to make is when you go into someone else's culture, you don't necessarily have to assimilate, but you do have to respect the larger things that they have and the things that they're doing. And if you do something differently, you can't necessarily blame them if they look at you with a side eye. Is that correct? Okay.
Well, yeah, that's in general. Yeah.
Right.
If you are, let's just say, if you go into country music, which, if you go into country music and you try to do something, if you try to change their culture, they're definitely going to look at you side eye.
Exactly. So, you got African American country singers and they sound like African American country singers. They haven't switched it over to rap, or maybe they have. I don't know. But I think you get the larger point is that you're not necessarily assimilating, but you're picking up the larger cultural values. And if you're going to participate in that culture, then you're not necessarily giving up all of you, but you're figuring out, okay, what makes sense until such time as maybe you push the envelope. But the common denominator is they want to see some positive things for themselves out of that change, right? So if you're pushing them to the limit in terms of the way that they act and interact with themselves, they're like, okay, what's in this for me? Am I winning something? Is there something that I get as a benefit from this?
Okay.
And if so, they may buy into it. They may say, yeah, sure, no problem. He wins or she wins at what they do. So let's break this down to the corporate culture, which I think the other gentleman was talking about.
And then tie it back to celebration, because I think that's where we started.
Well, that's the thing.
Okay.
There's a certain level of expectation that comes with a culture and a winning culture, which is my next point, where you want to see things that are familiar with winning until you see winning with a different style. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you're coming into a culture that, let's break it back to Colorado. Colorado ain't winning, so their culture is crap, right? Their old culture. But they do want to bring in a winning culture. And what they've seen is other football teams with winning culture with a way of doing things, right? So that if you come in with a different culture,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fine. Are you winning with it? Right? Can you win with it?
Let me push back a little bit. Hold on, because I think you've said enough for me to be able to have a little bit of a pushback. Because
Okay.
for what your correlations are what's throwing me off a little bit. Because
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out, because the way I see celebration is, if you're down, you better find a mojo. You need something to pick up. You need a way to get your energy up. You need something, because I think celebration has to do with self motivation. It stems a little bit into self motivation. You could be losing by 30 points, but you hit somebody smacking the nose,
No,
and
no,
then
no, no.
all of a
Hold on.
sudden,
Let me stop you there. I start with celebrations only just to lead in the conversation. That's not my point. The point I'm talking about is the
okay,
larger
because you
point.
was going into a whole lot
No,
of,
no,
and I'm
no.
trying to
I would
see.
just open up with that piece of it, because the celebration that your previous caller was talking about, and maybe you, is something that I agree with. If you break your knuckles fighting down the field 100 yards and score, I think you ought to be able to dance in the end zone as much as you want within reason.
Even
I
if you're
think you
losing by 30 points, so you don't have to
yeah,
be
I think you
winning to
ought
do
to.
that.
Absolutely. I think
Okay.
you ought to be able to celebrate. So what I was just saying is that the 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 reason why people will accept that celebration is what? You won something. You scored something.
Not what.
Right? So if you're losing, you didn't score, and you just start dancing in the middle of the field, people gonna scratch their head like, what is he doing that for?
To get
Right?
your step up.
Well, okay, that's different. All right, so we got
You
a
just
different
like
we got
like
a different
last caller
definition.
said, speak it into existence. So if
That's
you're
fine.
down and you start dancing, right? I think God told David, like David danced, right? David was down. The reason why David was dancing, because he was down trying to get his spirit up. So David started to dance. He didn't win nothing. His spirit was down. So he danced
No,
out of his clothes. So David started to dance to get moving. David was like, yo, get hype. Get hype. We down. We about 100.
okay.
They're killing us by 100. Get hype. So somebody's on the sideline, get in the crowd, like Draymond Green is telling the crowd, listen, we are losing by 100 points. Get loud to get us going.
Yeah,
Celebration doesn't
I
always
think
have to do with I want something. It's to get my spirit up, get my spirit going. When I do this and everybody's responding, let's go.
right. So, bro, look, I think we're talking about two different types of celebration, but either one I'm okay with in this context, right? What
Okay.
I'm getting at is what I think other people were talking about, or the caller was trying to say, the previous caller to him was saying, which is there are certain things like you were saying, DJs in the locker room,
Yeah.
certain types of things that are happening in the locker room, and in my opinion, why you're clocked in at work at the culture that you signed up to. It's different if I'm off the field and I'm doing my thing and and you gotta accept who I am. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, if we're gonna have all these elements as a part of the game, which the locker rooms that I've been in, I don't know if you play football,
Mm-hmm.
the coach wants you concentrating before the game. You need to be in thought and whatever it is to do to get you motivated. I have never in my life, pros or otherwise, seen a DJ in the locker room before the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's new to me. And I'm not saying it can't work, but the model I've seen thus far, we're 4-18,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what I'm saying is elements of that culture and celebration. Maybe I shouldn't have let in with that. That confused you. I'm all for celebrating whatever you got to do personally to get yourself motivated to do the job you need to do on the field within reason,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
But if your leadership is putting things and elements in the environment that multiple different cultures have to participate in, which is my next point, then everybody on that team may not get where you're coming from, which is what
Mm-hmm.
I'll switch to in a sec.
Okay.
But even the people on your team who are there to do a job, you're bringing an element of their culture, in my opinion, that has to do with after the victory
Mm-hmm.
versus before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in black culture, I don't think anybody before they clock in a job has a DJ in front of the job
Mm-hmm.
spinning records before they clock in. Okay, that may be extreme, but I think you get my point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, there are elements of success and successful culture that a
Mm-hmm.
losing culture may want to assimilate with until they get to a winning culture, or if you're going to push the envelope and we're all rolling the dice on what it is that you're doing differently, then the people who are paying for it got to justify it. And like I said, I like the other caller. What he said is, hey, if you want to push the envelope and you happen to own the organization, go for it, man. Roll the dice. But if I own the organization, whatever color I happen to be, and I am seeing a winning culture has nothing to do with race, but all the elements of success of a football team, and you are colored outside the lines, then I may have the right to ask a question or raise my eyebrow and say, hey, bro, should we be doing this before the game? Should we doing these things before the game? Should we doing these things during the game? Should we
Okay.
have
Can I ask
players?
a question?
All right.
Sure,
So
sure.
okay. So here we go. I got Red Panda back
So
on because
you
when we
think a DJ
hold
playing
on, Red Panda. Let me set this.
alters their mind state? Have
BP.
you ever seen
Red
other
Panda.
locker rooms where they have their headphone
Red,
in? What you think is playing?
Well, again, as I said before,
Red Panda.
anything you
Hold
do.
on, guys. Guys, can
Go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Let me narrate this show, guys. Let me.
Okay.
No,
Sorry about that.
what I'm saying
Well,
is,
he jumped
Red
right in.
Panda.
I
Red
think
Panda. Red Panda.
no,
Are you
I
here?
didn't mean to interrupt. I asked if I could ask a question. You said go ahead,
Yeah.
so
But let me
I want
narrate.
to make
I
sure
wanted
we
to bring you. I wanted
on
to
the
bring you
same
back
page.
in. Let me bring you back in.
You hear me?
I can hear you, but can you hear me? Is there a delay?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I think he may be watching the YouTube versus on the stream.
Okay. So go ahead. Go
Hello?
ahead with your
You hear
question.
me?
Go ahead with your question. All right, hold up. Let me mute your mic, BP. Red Panda, can you hear me? Red Panda, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I don't think he can hear me, but hold on. I'm gonna take him off for a second. I don't think he can hear me. But go ahead and get your final thoughts in, then I'll bring him on so he can say what he got to say. Because
Well,
I
no,
don't
I
think.
mean, you know, look, I don't mind bring him on. I want to do the back and forth if we can. But
Okay,
let
all
me
right.
answer his question. I thought I heard.
Let me bring him back on, and hopefully his mic will come on, and
Okay.
he can start talking. So Red Panda, I don't mind this back and forth. Red Panda, go ahead. Let me see.
You hear
Red
me
Panda,
now?
if you can hear me, yeah, go ahead. There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but what I was pushing back on a little bit was this is a clear issue of generational understanding. The new generation, regardless of where you at, they listen music before they go out. Some people need solitude, some people need music, some people need to call their mom. Everybody have a routine, right? Before they go out and play. If we look at the NBA, we go to the Lakers locker room, we see LeBron singing and we see the professionals doing it. And the kids emulate the professionals. So the DJ being there isn't necessarily the distraction that you are saying. For those who feel that artists and different things being there is a distraction, when you become a professional, who you think is on the sideline? I think a lot of times we critique the things because it's new. But I think personally, some adjustments could be made, yes. But if you want to engage recruits and different things like that, he's starting with nothing. I've got to use the tools I have
Well, hold on.
available.
Before you switch subjects, I want to deal with that if you can, because you starting to move off. So,
No, no, let
You,
me just finish the train
before
of
you
thought.
guys finish, I
all
have
right,
another caller on, so I might just bring him in so we can all just talk.
yeah,
Okay.
bring
So
him in, bro.
all right.
All
So
good.
but no, but y'all go ahead and finish your point, and then I'll bring Antonio in so they can join the conversation. I'm
All right. So
loving it, man. Let's
with
go.
all due respect, sir, let's stop there because I don't want to deal with too many points at once.
Understood. Go ahead.
No,
So
it's the same point. I was just finishing the train of thought, but go ahead.
yeah. So I said it earlier in this conversation. I am all for what you need to do personally to motivate yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if I were in that same locker room and they start and my country friends, my apologies, it's just I don't like country music. So if they start blaring country music and all I had to do was listen to country music for the game, I'd be pissed off. By the time the game started, I'd be so distracted and pissed off. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to play, but it
Use that
didn't help
energy
me.
you use that energy to play harder.
Well, again, it's not going to help me. Let's just put it that way,
Okay, I
right?
get you. I get you.
So what I'm saying is that as the coach and the leader of that team, you are a leader of all the men in that locker room,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that you do not want to put a culture that forces someone to feel a certain way or hear a certain thing. And it's got nothing to do with them being racist or not racist, but they may have a genre of music that they like, or a level of silence that they like to prepare themselves for the game. And I'm all for, again, if you want to bring
BP.
earphones, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's BP.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm starting to understand what side of this conversation you're on, because we started off a little rocky, but let me cook for a second.
Okay.
You're okay, sir. Now that we've gotten to this point, now that you said what you just said, are you talking about? Are you trying to articulate code switching, assimilation, and you're saying when you come into a place, you need to assimilate? Is that what you're saying? Can you
No,
clarify that so
what
that
I'm
people?
saying
Because I
is
feel
that
like you're kind
what
of
I'm
like here,
saying,
you're there. I don't know where
well,
you
no, but
are.
what I'm saying is, and I think the point you're missing it, and I think even I don't know the gentleman's name that's on the call now.
Let's just call him Red.
Red. Okay.
Now you
I
call
think
me Panda.
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 Okay,
Okay. I
Panda.
think even Panda said, hey, there is a corporate culture that when you sign all that paperwork that you signed up to, right? Is that right, Red?
Antonio, I'll be with
Yes,
you in a
correct.
second.
Correct.
Okay. So they're not saying, hey, you need to leave who you are at the door, but when you come in here, you signed up to this culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm saying is that the Buffs are saying, hey, here's a football culture that we're used to. Here's a football culture that, well, they're not saying that, but what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying is the people who might have a problem with this might say, hey, there is a football culture as a part of a winning team and a winning strategy that we're accustomed to seeing.
Okay.
And just like this comment here, when they have beats and headphones, yeah, there are pro teams that are winning games where the players have their own headphones, their own personal headphones on. Even the
Mm-hmm.
Buffs do. If you look at
Yo,
Shador when he
VP,
walks through the game, he's got his own personal headset on,
VP.
right?
BP, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Red. Go ahead,
Go
Panda.
ahead.
Are you aware that the company said headphones for the entire locker room?
What's the point you're making? I agree, headphones should be worn. What? I don't get it.
But this is what you're doing. You are saying the music is an issue, and then you're saying people are saying that, and then you're saying they're not saying that. So I'm not quite sure if you're making a hypothetical argument or you making an issue of this is what Colorado is dealing. The reason I'm saying that is you cannot have 20 years lack of success and say it is a culture.
Bro,
Then secondly, let me finish
go
the
ahead.
point.
Sure.
The me being in management, the reason why I use that, my management and leadership style is different. The company I work for has its own guidelines. For example, sexual harassment is a guideline. The way how you dress, your hygiene, and those things are guidelined by the company. How if you are privileged to deal with money, there's guidelines in how you deal with the money. So aspects of your job has guidelines. But I was highly recruited to different stores because of me, my personality. They were literally a bidding war of where I should go. And people don't understand this also happens in corporate spaces.
Well,
And
let me ask you a
to the
question.
environment that allowed me to be me.
That's
You
fine.
have to
Let me ask you a
understand.
question though, because
But
I
let me
said
finish
this
the
off.
point. Let me finish the point
Okay.
before you did things.
Sure. Okay.
The reason why I'm saying this, the athletic director at the end of the day is Prime's boss.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
correct.
the athletic director, if you look at the weekly interview they do at the bar with the reporter, he said, I knew who I was bringing in. We had these discussions already. He told me what he wanted to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was surprised that he was prepared and he told me all aspects in what he wanted to do. And I knew then this was my guy. So my boss is saying, I am comfortable with who Panda is as an individual, who Prime is as an individual. And I hired him knowing this. What you are doing now is saying, I don't like the extra that is creating a new environment here. I'm not used to this. So because of that, he is not good fit.
No, that's
And
not
the,
what I'm.
the
That's not.
athletic
It's not,
director is
sir,
saying,
sir. It is not
mhm,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, Panda. Let
Okay,
him clarify.
okay,
Okay.
so
Listen,
let,
listen. BP, you're gonna
yeah.
say that, and then I gotta bring in Antonio. I've been waiting. He's been waiting too long.
Okay, it's up to you. So I think for you, let's deal with Red. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your name,
Panda,
sir.
Panda.
Panda. Um, the common denominator, I would assume, I'm guessing, you tell me, were you successful at what you did?
yes.
Okay. So everywhere you
But
went,
before I was promoted, right, before I got the job, I have to do an interview just like everybody else.
well, they took a shot on you, right? And you didn't come in,
Correct.
bebopping and doing whatever. You were professional. And you got the job, right?
I actually at the time I was doing music and I'm promoting, I'm doing all that outside of the corporate. So they liked that because I was relatable because the environment I was going to had a particular younger demographic. And they liked that and they realized I knew how to turn it into money.
Well,
I
sir,
knew how to
let me
motivate
ask
us.
you this. Let me ask you this. Was your demeanor the same as it is
Mhm.
now, or was it different?
It was the same as it is now. The
Okay.
only difference is
I interpret that as
wait,
that
let me
being, sir, I kind of listen to you. I internalize that as you being pretty professional, bro. I mean, you haven't disrespected anybody else or done anything weird that I would see. Seems very professional to me. So
so let
if
me let me
if
give you a
well,
pushback what happened.
sir, let me get the
Let
floor
him
here because
finish, Panda.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I think you came in with a professional demeanor. They appreciated the other skills that you brought and being able to deal with a different demographic of folks. And they said, yeah, we'll hire them. We'll take a chance. Or maybe they didn't even say take a chance. It's like these are perfect fit. So in any case, the common denominator with your style and what you're trying to present to me is that, hey, you went and did some, even though the company culture was this, you went and did, you kind of implied that you did that. Now we haven't established what that is. Again, I think
All right.
you shape shifting a little bit, but just taking it at face value, then the common denominator is that you were successful at what you did. So they let it continue. Were it not successful, you and I both know, because I've been in the same place as you are, maybe other places too, you would not be around long. Can
So
we
what is
agree
your
on that?
okay, BP? What's your overarching point? Because I feel like you're saying you
I'm
have to be
getting lost.
you have to be successful for them to allow you to be you. That's what I'm keep hearing.
No, sir. What I'm saying
So then
is
what are you saying?
be
Because
you.
I'm lost.
What I'm saying is be you, but the common denominator on all the things that we see, whether it be in music, whether it be in business or whatever it is when
Mhm.
someone if someone's perception who might be in power and control of the organization that you're doing this with
Okay.
perceives it as pushing the edge a little bit. It may be just you being you, but if you're pushing the edge, the just speaking from personal experience, the common
Okay.
denominator is the success of that individual that lets that continue. If it is not
That
successful, generally speaking, that organization or that individual will distance themselves from that
But
person.
that's exactly what I just said. You're saying like you said you're not agreeing, but you keep saying the same thing. You keep saying if you're successful,
I
then
said, listen,
they
sir,
will
at the
allow
at the
you.
top of this conversation, I asked you, what is the common denominator? And we said winning, right?
We didn't say you said.
you said that.
Okay, fine.
You said
I
that.
didn't agree
Is
with you.
winning
I
the
said
same?
no.
Is
I
winning the
don't
same
I don't
thing though?
agree that it's predicated upon winning because I think celebration has a lot to do with getting
Sir,
up.
I'm not dealing with celebration. Celebration is different,
I
right?
thought that's what we were just talking about.
No, sir. What I'm saying is my definition of celebration is maybe after victory, after score, after something that you've done to achieve. I think you said your celebration is okay. I don't know if you call it celebration. Motivation and celebration are different to me. But okay, if we're equating motivation with celebration and you do things to motivate yourself by dancing around and doing what you do, I don't know if that would call it celebration. That's a different definition. But if
So
you're
how do we get
motivating
here,
yourself,
VP? How do we get here then?
because you got both of you guys are kind of contorting on me.
Oh, okay,
So
VP, 1 second. VP.
But hold on. Can we agree that motivating yourself, and celebrating are slightly different?
It depends on the perspective of the person. That could be individual. But let me say this point, VP. The reason why I want to
you gotta say that, and then I'll let him talk, and then I gotta guess these two other guys. We got Antonio, we got Armand, GU3. They're on the line. So this conversation is going a little too long. So we gotta cut it short.
Let me just push back, VP. When I went into that new market, there's different markets. Even though the southern region, there's different markets. The culture that exists at that market, the company said they wanted something different.
Well, that's different, bro. You're saying something completely different. You're saying the company went back on its own culture.
For you. Could you allow me to break it down for you? I don't want it to be a situation where we're not having an understanding. So allow me to break it down. And I'm going to show you the parallel with Prime. The culture at that particular location was unsuccessful. I was successful where I was at. Prime, no matter how you measure it, had a measure of success at Jackson. With that, with the resources he had, with the relationships he had, they deemed me fit, they deemed Prime fit to insert him into a place that had a culture that was not successful. You may say the team ended with 4 wins. It's not a winning season. As a business, they are looking at, hey, I had sold out stadium. I had a reinsurgent in ticket sales. I could now go to the collective and say, hey,
Panda, get to the point so that we can we got 2 guests waiting. So get to the point, please, Panda.
Well, I was just trying to explain to him, culture is going to change when you insert a new person. There was a time in our life slavery was cool. There was a time Jim Crow was cool. When you insert change, it is going to create a reaction. Over time, it develops into the successful movement you're trying to make. You have to give it time. I'm not quite sure what
say one last thing, and then I'm done.
All right,
and I'm going to jump off. Let me say one last thing, and I'm done. All right.
Go ahead, guys.
What he just described is success, and it isn't necessarily on the football field. There was success in revenue. There was success in what was generated, right? And there's a fan base that's hyped up over what they've seen in potential, right? So that is all winning, sir. And you can't come in here and say, well, there was a company culture, and then at the same time say, well, they asked me to go change it in this place. Okay, that is their culture, whatever it is they asked you to change it to. And apparently they adopted yours because you won. You were good at what you did.
Okay,
right?
So I get the point. So we got
last one, and I'm done, right?
Okay.
It is the culture, what he's doing in terms of revenue. If that can sustain itself with a continuing losing record, then great. I'm all for it. Dan Snyder did it, right? The owner of the Redskins. He is now gone now, right? Nobody wants him. Everybody ran him out of town, even though he was making a whole lot of revenue for the organization.
But you're making the same point, but you're trying to repeat the same point. You're making the same point. The point is winning culture. You can do what you want to do as long as you're winning. That is the overarching point. So yeah, so we have to end it there. I'm sorry, but we got to end it there. Thank you so much for both of you coming on. Okay, I appreciate it.
Yep. Sorry.
All right, take care, guys.
Sir.
It's all good, man. Come on, now. It's all love. All right. All right, guys. So, all right, listen, we went in a direction where I wasn't really anticipating, but that's part of the show, man. Listen, when you have guests, I just let people talk, and we can kind of go into different directions and say what we got to say, and then it is what it is. So let's go ahead and bring on the other guests. I'm going to bring you two on, Coach McKinney and Armand. Both of you are going to come on. We can all talk about each points that you make, and then I'll give you guys opportunities, guys, for you to say what you have to say. So I'm going to first say, Coach McKinney, what up with you? And Armand, what up with you? And if you guys can kind of turn down your audio for a second, you can turn down your audio. Feedback won't come through so much. All right, so what up with you guys? Coach McKinney, you got the floor. You go first. You've been waiting for the longest. Armand will be right with you.
All right.
Hey, I'm gonna kind of chime in just a little bit from a coaching standpoint. What you guys were talking about, being a high school coach myself. I'm not gonna go. I'm not saying who I agree with or disagree. I think they both brought up some really great points. At the end of the day, if we all look at the situation, Colorado was a 1-11 team. They was by far one of the worst teams in all of college football last year.
Okay.
They had to make a major change. The thing that people have to understand, especially if we're going to talk about culture, not necessarily win-loss culture, even if we're talking about race culture as far as black coaches, there's 118 Division I programs. There's only, I think, 5 or 6 black head coaches. The norm is you come in, you're a suit and tie guy, and that's what you see with the Kirby Smarts, the Nick Sabans, even Lewis that just took the job at San Diego State. How do they look in their interviews or their opening press conference? They're in these suits and everything else. When you get a coach like a Coach Prime, who is a Hall of Famer, and this is where I think everybody's getting why there's so much hate on him, because the culture is changing. Think about this. For years, there was hardly no black coaches, just like there was hardly no black quarterbacks. If you look at the NFL now, I'm going to use the NFL for a second. If you look at the NFL now, half of the league got black quarterbacks. But if you go back 20 years, you're lucky if you found 5 or 6 of that. So some of the things that's going on now is, okay, first they said we wasn't smart enough to be quarterbacks. Now we're the game is changing so much that if you don't have an athletic quarterback, whether he's black or white, if he can't run and throw, you're in trouble. The old school stand in the pocket is gone. So now you look at coaches, the old school coaches of saying, hey, this is how we're going to do things, and it's going to always stay this way. It's changing because of the generation of the kids are changing. Kids are not listening to a coach anymore that's going to cuss them out and dog them out. When my generation, we was used to that. We took that. We took that as whatever it was, motivation, and we played for it. These kids nowadays, you're not cussing these kids out because some of these kids will butt back up at you and be ready to fight you. So now you have to come at them at a different angle. You have to relate to them. Get on their level. Get them to understand what you're trying to do. And one of the biggest things I tell all coaches, especially young coaches, kids recognize realness. When you are fake, they see it. When you look at someone like Coach Prime, who is a Hall of Famer, these kids have heard stories of Prime. Most of them have never seen him unless they YouTube him because, like I said, he played years ago. But he's considered one of the most flamboyant, flashiest, greatest football player ever. And these kids, these rappers, what do you see with these rappers? They throwing money up in the videos. They got gold chains, pretty girls, and what Prime said, he said the reason why I created the primetime image was because growing up, I saw drug dealers wearing the chains and stuff. I wanted kids in my neighborhood to see you can wear gold chains and not have to do anything illegal. Well, now everybody wants to get mad at Coach Prime because he's doing the same things he's doing. He's just doing it on a grown man level now. He may not be as flashy as he was as the Showtime primetime that was in Atlanta and that won the championships as a coach. When you look at a Nick Saban, we talked about this one time before. I've gone to coaching clinics. All high school coaches go to coaching clinics. If you want to be great, you have to go to coaching clinics. Coaching clinics are held by college coaches. You go in, you sit with those coaches, and you're talking X's and O's. When you meet a Nick Saban, he's going to walk in, he got khaki pants on, polo shirt, and y'all sitting there, and you're talking football all day long. And if you're a diehard football guy, you love that type of atmosphere. These kids don't want to sit there and deal with that mess all day long, 24/7. These kids are on YouTube. These kids are on their phones. They're doing so many things that our generation didn't do. The problem that we have is a lot of old school people, my age and older, need to sit down and be quiet because these kids are on a different level now. They're faster, they're stronger, and they're quicker. And they want the music. They want the flash. They love the stars coming to the games and things.
All right, Coach, listen, you brought in that energy. Let me let you take a breath real quick. Let me bring in Armand. Let me see if he wants to kind of piggyback on what you're saying. But take a breath, bro. Breathe a little bit. But you came in with the fire, and I love it, man. But Armand, go ahead and say what you got. Thank you, Coach. But just don't leave, Coach. Don't leave. Go ahead, Armand. What you
I'm here.
got?
I got you. Go ahead.
Salute, Coach. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, man, I will definitely piggyback off of Coach, man, because I'm kind of right in that lineage of maybe the next generation behind Coach M. So I'm definitely I was able to be fortunate enough to have a playing experience in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. I have a son now. He's 12 or 13. I actually coached his 8U team a few years back, and it's absolutely a change, man. I think the higher up in levels you go, the higher up in class of play you go, from high school to college onto the pros, it's harder to understand. It's harder to keep a grasp on, especially with the different age groups, right? Like Coach was saying, some of these kids, man, they don't have the wherewithal, if you will, and the endurance to take that tough love in coaching. Like in our days, so to say, which wasn't so long ago, and so I feel, the coaching was acceptable. It was like your extra set of parents outside your household. What they said went. If you wanted to win and be a good football player, you did what they said to do. But these days, kids got so much of a clapback. And like Coach said, they're faster. They're faster with the comebacks from the mouth. They're quicker with the responses from their brain. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just them thinking that they know everything, really holding them to a standard amongst themselves that the older generation ain't really willing to accept. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still in that parental work role, even though it's in another form, in the form of sports. But change is never, easy. It's inevitable that it has to happen. Like I said, the higher up you go in the hierarchies, man, those older elites that's, pulling the strings amongst the college and the high school ranks and even the pro ranks, they don't like the change. They like the results, but they don't like that change. You know what I'm saying? And Coach Prime is exemplifiing that with the facility, with the video games that he got in there. Like you said, you go to these different visits. That's why these kids don't want to sell themselves short on visits. It's like, I go see Coach Prime. Okay, cool. I like that. That feels like home. Okay, let me go check out another school. Okay, wow, cool. That feels like school. Let me go check out another school. Wow, that feels like home too. I get that parental vibe. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta really let these kids live out their true experience. I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to commit so early, because it leaves such a false sense of hope going forward for both the organization, the players, the fans, everybody, because we see the end result now. You know what I mean?
All right, Coach. So what do you have to say about that? Should we allow, the kids are who they are. So if the kids from back in the day, they were pretty much allowed to be themselves, and these kids are a little different. This is a different culture. This is a different time. Even though they are a little bit disrespectful and they're not like our generation, they clap back a little easy. They question us. Do we give them some room to be themselves, or how do we handle that, Coach?
A little bit.
The way you deal with these kids nowadays, the way I deal with them is I talk to them on their level. I try to treat them as if they're my own kids. I know every coach says that, but like even with my son, I used to make a rule. I'm like, I'm gonna let you be you. And when he made little mistakes that remind me of myself, I never got mad at him. Because I remember one time he got in trouble for talking too much in class. I said, well, I'm not gonna whoop you for that. Hell, I used to do the same thing. You ain't doing no more than what I did. I think sometimes as adults we forget how we were as kids. And that is the biggest problem right now with the everybody that has all this say so and all the hate towards Coach Prime. You got to remember, and I know all you guys can remember this. Remember when rap music first came out? Our parents used to hate it because they grew up on the old school music. Oh, turn that mess off. That's some devil music. Da 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 da.
Now they don't like to change.
Right, they don't want to change. Now here we doing the exact same thing our parents did to us. We're trying to do it to these kids now, and it's not
in another form of sports.
That's exactly right. These kids, they're not, and they're not trying to be disrespectful, because you hear the kids all the time say, "Oh, you got to respect me before I respect you." Because remember, the old saying used to be, "You got to give respect in order to get respect." But these kids look at it as, "No, you're going to give me my respect now. I'm not going. I shouldn't have to do nothing for you. You should just give it to me because I deserve it." And that's one of the biggest issues that you run into with this generation now, because like I said, they shoot off at the mouth in a minute. If they feel disrespected, they'll shoot off in a minute. Look at what you son just cut a fool. T.I. son.
T.I. son, yep.
Exactly. Because he felt disrespected. As much as his parents have done for him, and we don't know the whole story, he felt like, oh, you're going to disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you. No, I stand on da-da-da-da. a lot of kids think that way. So as a coach, the way I look at it is I try to go to them as an adult. I try to talk to them as an adult and try to be on their level. Now, I'm not going to let them talk to me any kind of way, but one thing I love about my players that I have is they all have respect for me because I talk to them with respect. And when they make mistakes, I got kids that get in trouble in the classroom. When they come and tell me, Coach, the teacher did this, I try to listen to them and hear their side first, because sometimes some teachers have a bad day and then they take it out on the kids. And I'm a big component. Some people don't need to teach because they just don't. They don't. If you don't truly love these kids and want to work with them, you don't need to teach. The same way with coaching. Some coaches think yelling is coaching, cussing the kid out is coaching. I can get more out of a kid without cussing them out and yelling at them than a coach that yells and cusses all the time. And that's what Coach Prime does. He makes those kids feel like they part of the club, part of the crew with him. And that's what a lot of these colleges are scared of. And then one of the biggest things I see personally as a coach, I think a lot of colleges are scared of is what happens when you start getting a lot of Hall of Famers wanting to be head coaches. Because you look at a lot of these coaches.
Before you go into that,
football,
hold on, Coach. Before you go into
ahead.
that, what you guys are kind of saying right now, I'm hearing two things. Let me tell you what I hear, and then I'll let you talk, Armand.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys are saying something where I'm like, what? But wait a minute. Let the kids be themselves and like respect the kids, respect who they are right now, because we didn't get the respect because the older folks, they try to shut us up. I mean, when Christian music started, Christian rap, it was the church was like, oh no, what that demonic stuff? We don't need that over here. So I get that idea. I get that whole idea of it's the older folks don't like to change because I said it in my last video when Coach Prime got the. So I get that part, but I feel like there's two things going on here, two dynamics going on here. So what about the message that Coach Prime is sending with the NIL money? And what about the way that he's saying, I'm going to get rid of you? How does that message come across from the people that are leaving? And how does that correlate with what you are saying as far as he's relating to them? I feel like there's two things going on. So you take it first, Armand.
Well, I think when it comes to the NIL, well, let me start here real quick, and I'm gonna pass it on to Coach, and I'm gonna keep on my journey. So, what's her name earlier from my hometown, from Atlanta? Was it Love, Miss Love?
Love Moves, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was right. Stepping into that realm that Coach just stepped into less than a year ago, you can be yourself as Coach. Filthy grown man, right? You can be yourself. You don't have to change just because you're stepping in a new arena. Not totally. But some things that you say, whether it's the parents, the media, the kids directly, it ruffles feathers, man. That's true. I'm a big Primetime fan. Like I just said, I'm from Atlanta, so Braves, Falcons, Bulldogs, now Buffs. I'm a bandwagon, right? But
all right.
But Coach, I think moving forward, he should try to be a little bit more candid with his words, man, because he did have to kind of belly back and eat that about the NIL money that he was saying, hey, we're not a piggy bank. How you expect for them kids to look at that when your son walking around with Rolex and Audemars Piguets and Maybachs? And I get it, that's the coach's son, that's the team QB, but it's also other players on the team, like you said, with chains and whatnot. Now, all players don't get that NIL money. All players don't get that opportunity. But if you're telling me as a potential student athlete to Colorado University, I could possibly have that, but you haven't seen me play yet or what I'm going to do when I get on the field, but you're telling me that you'll get rid of me in that same breath. That is a little unsettling. And if I was in between my visit with you and your organization, your school, and 12 others, it just lowered your chances to me as a kid or young potential player, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you kind of got to tread light. Let them have, give them an edge, hoping they don't take them out. And I'll pass it on to Coach, man.
All right, man. Thank you for. Okay, man. I appreciate you calling in, and if you have to continue your journey, that's cool. If you want to stay right there and add on to anything, I welcome that. But let me go ahead. Go ahead, Coach.
For sure.
All right.
All right. I think with the NIL, here's the deal with the NIL with Coach Prime. He definitely old school with this.
Mm-hmm.
His thing is you got to work. You got to put in some sweat equity to get paid. That's why he always talks about these kids. He said, in one of his interviews,
is that an old school thinking? Is that an old school thinking about sweat equity to get paid?
I think so. I think this generation, because a lot of kids I talk to, they think they're supposed to get certain things like they are supposed to have it. not saying they're lazy, because you got kids that will work for it, but like nowadays, how many kids do you really find? Like, I use myself as an example. I started working at 16, so I started working my freshman year, going in my at the end of my freshman year, and I worked all through high school. But yet I played football and wrestle too, and I maintained an AB average in school. A lot of kids don't do stuff like that because some parents don't want their kids working. Some parents, the kids got to work to help out at home. So I think what Coach Prime thing is, get in here and let's get the work done, and I'll make sure you get the money on the back end. But if you're coming in looking for the money right now and you haven't proved anything, then we're not the right school for you, because we're not going to just start handing out checks, or we're not going to make you rich. But I will say, I believe that he's going to make sure those kids are in there busting their butt working. He's going to make sure they get some money and they're taken care of, because a lot of people don't realize, like a lot of those walk-ons, if you go look at some of his Aflac commercials, especially the ones when he's on the football field, a lot of those kids are in those commercials and they're getting paid the same way he's doing with his own kids. Yeah, of course he's Prime. His kids gonna make money because of the name, and they're gonna use that to the fullest of their ability. What kid wouldn't use that to the fullest of their ability? If my parents can help, my parents' name or job or title helps me make more money, I'm going to try to exploit it, or not really exploit it, but I'm gonna try to use that to the best of my ability to get as much out of it as possible. But I don't think he's trying to tell kids I'm not going to get you paid at our university. I would think he really believes is, I need you to come in here and bust your butt and do what you need to do, and I'm gonna make sure you're taken care of if you're doing your part. Because you got to think about it, he's got connections all day. They just put a video out last night while I meet him. He's with Jerry Jones. Do you not think Coach Prime don't know a lot of these owners? So when it comes time for these kids to get drafted, he ain't gonna start making phone calls and say, "Hey, you need to take a look at this kid. I know this kid might not got a lot of notice, but you might want to take a look at this kid." He did it when he was at Jackson State. A lot of those kids got opportunities to try out and get jobs. Heck, even Dwayne Johnson brought the XFL to Jackson State just because of him, because he wanted them kids to get a chance to make money for their family. So I don't think he's trying to cut them off from making money. I think what his thing is, come in here and work, and let's get paid when you're working. But don't come in here and think we're just going to start handing you checks and you ain't did nothing yet. That's my belief when it comes to the NIL.
Okay, you make a great point on that, because I think there's a couple of people that said they agree with you. Ken B agree with you. Lalinkia, I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Says they agree with you. So Coach Prime, his style is saying, listen, guy, I'm Prime. Okay, you ain't got to worry about a check. I want you to come
Right.
here with the right mindset. I want you to come play football. I want you to understand. Just listen, be a kid. Enjoy being who you are, because this money thing is not all it's cracked out to be. If your mind is all on that money, money can come and money can go. But I want you to have the right values. I want you to have the right mentality when you go into life. If you're always chasing the money, then you don't have time to develop the values that you need that's going to sustain you when the money is not there. So those things are what Coach Prime was trying to say. And he
Yes.
was trying to say, I want you to be a good person. Say, yes, man,
Mm.
yes, sir, yes,
Yep.
ma'am. Go to
Old
class, get
school.
you education. So that's kind of like along the lines of what you're saying now. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's that old school mentality. Having respect, how to treat people,
Mm,
having good character, which is part of those five qualities that he said he looks for in kids.
mm,
And the thing about it, think about money attracts money. So
yeah.
if Coach Prime is doing major deals, he's got major corporations coming in, and he see this kid over here busting their butt, but he knows this kid financially need a little help. I'm almost willing to bet that man gonna say, "Hey, such and such, hey Walmart, hey Under Armour, hey Nike, Phil Knight, hey Jerry
Mm,
Jones, hey, help my man out here. This kid, I'm vouching for this kid. This kid is a great kid, and he just need a little help. Mom them ain't got it at home, where mama got three other kids at the house, and he come from a family, and they don't have a lot. Daddy locked up, or daddy dead, or he's coming out of foster care, whatever the case may be, because there's a lot of good stories in there, and that's why I'm looking forward to the video his primetime video coming out, because he said he's
mm,
gonna talk about a lot of that stuff. But that at the end of the day, I don't see that man being so selfish and
mm,
saying my kid's gonna make all the money. I don't care about nobody else's kid. I just don't see that happening, because the way he moves and operates, he's making sure everybody's getting their just due. Like Kamari McLean about to start getting some deals, but he had to bring them along slowly. He trained them. He had to get on them to teach them that work ethic. Kamari McLean could have easily said, you know what, screw this. I'm getting the porter. I'm out. He trusts the process. I think a lot of old heads got to sit back and trust the process. The man is going to win. It's going to take him some time, but he's going to win. And he's going to make sure these kids get the money they need to take care of home. But he's wanting them to get that generational wealth. It's one thing to get an NIL deal for a couple $100,000. Well, when you get out of high school, get out of college, what happened to that money? It's gone. He wants them to get that real money, them NFL contracts where you're making $10, $20 million over the next 4 or 5 years, and you can set your family up for life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like looking at, am I worried about the short-term money now, or am I playing the long game, the short game or the long game? You should be playing for the long game because you're young enough to play for the long game. But it doesn't mean you can't have a little bit of change in your pocket to live. You may not be making as much as Shadora, but you also have to understand where Shador come from, the kind of lifestyle he's had. He's been around famous people all his life. He's got Tom Brady in his back pocket. He's a Brady brand guy. He's going to get major deal, and he's a quarterback. So he's going to make money, but that doesn't mean you can't. You just got to get on the field and show, and that's what he's been saying all season. Get out on the field and show your talent, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to blow you up. We do the same thing with our kids here in Charlotte at our high school. We're probably one of the most hated teams in Charlotte. But, Coach, if you guys check out Julius Chambers High School football, we have over 10 million views on our website for our videos for our kids, and we keep it hype. All that stuff, the guys were talking about earlier about the DJs and stuff, we do all that. When you come to our home games, it's like going to an HBCU game. We got a DJ at the field. In our locker room, our kids are lit and getting crunk, but we ask them to perform when they're on the field, and we tell them go have fun. As long as they don't do nothing too egregious, we'll take the blunt of those penalties. We don't care. Go have fun, because that's what the game is all about.
All right, so let's answer some of these pushbacks a little bit, because we got a few pushbacks. We made some great points there, but it's always good to have a different opinion.
Perfect.
All right,
yeah, which
is exactly right. We're not perfect, so we got a little bit of pushback here from Solid Gold. And when I was in Liberia, there was this show called Solid Gold. It was an old show, but it was like people were singing and stuff like that. It was great. So that's a great name right there. It just took me back to Liberia when I was a pub. But Solid Gold pushed back a little bit and said, at TLP Sports Club, brother, no disrespect, but that's not happening. Don't nobody who's elite at their position hearing all that. They want that bag. And then somebody else said, talk to some of the former Jackson State players. Okay, how much money did they make? Zero. So there is they got a point there. So what is the balance between the young people between trying to send a message of, hey, listen, you know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that thank you for the super chat. RB4 Sports coaches preaching. Okay, so how do we balance RB4's mentality, yours and my mentality, where we're like, hey, listen, the money will come. That short-term thing that you're looking for, if you will get the right values, if you focus on education, X, Y, and Z, the things that I'm trying to teach you right now, I guarantee you the amount of money that you will make because of these things that you put into place now is going to be way more than this NIL stuff. But what about the people that's saying, hey, man, them kids wants the bag. We'll deal with the other stuff later. How do we talk to them? How do we, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Solid Gold, you can call in if you want to come with you just email me, hottips@tlpsportsclub@gmail.com. It's right there on the top of your screen. If you look there, hot tips for tlpsports@gmail, it's right there. That's how you call into the show. Come here and say what you got to say. But go ahead, Coach. How do we talk to like the Solid Golds and say, with a little bit of pushback, like, ain't nobody got time for all of that. This is a new age. We want the bag now.
The only pushback I could say, Psycho has a good point. There are going to be some kids that want their money now. Okay. And you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to open it, like they say. You have to open up their checkbook, or like Coach Prime said, you have to swipe that credit card. You're going to have to pay for some of them. So what's going to happen is certain kids is going to get that bag early. Some of them not. The one thing I would say about the kids at Jackson State that didn't make money, let's look at the kids at Jackson State that didn't make money. What were their role? What were they doing? Were they some of the top tier guys? Were they some of the faces of the team? Because the guy at the bottom of the roster ain't finna get a whole bunch of money. Let's
Okay.
just keep it 100. If you sit in the bench riding the pine and you expect the bag, you're in the wrong sport. You better go get a job because you just it's not going to happen. You've got to be a contributor, and you got to be a contributor that makes noise, that makes a notice, that gets some type of light shine on you, that people recognize who you are and what you're doing. At the end of the day, if it's a business, then it's a business. Ain't no major company finna invest in no kid or college kid that ain't gonna put their company in some type of light, in a good light at that. So now that means you got to be a star. So if you're that 5-star quarterback, receiver, DB, D lineman, you better be a stud. If you want that bag, ain't nothing wrong with it. I would never tell a kid I don't want them to get paid. Like I said, I truly believe Coach Prime ain't gonna tell a kid not to get that bag. He's just saying, hey, we ain't got that kind of money here, not yet. We're getting it, but we're not finna go overboard and start spending money like they put out today. Matt Rule said right now a good quarterback is going for $2 million. Okay, so now we know what the money market looks like in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Some schools can't afford that. Appalachian State, who's a good program, they not finna pay $2 million for no quarterback. They just ain't got that kind of money. So the kids that want the money, there's nothing wrong with it. Go get your money if you can get it, but also understand what you're getting into, because this goes back to what we tell our high school kids. Not all, not all programs are a perfect fit for you. I would say this, and all of my old head men will understand this. If you play dominoes and when you slam down, you get your point, they always say all money ain't good money, and that's how you have to look at this thing. You can go out here and you can be a big time star and go get these NIL deals with this major money and go to a program. But what happens if you ain't winning? What happens if you ain't performing? Then what?
Hmm.
What happens then?
You make a
So
good point there. Ken B, thank you for the super chat. Great show again, Harry B. Keep up the great work. You are getting better every time I tap in. Fire emoji. If y'all like the show, man, I appreciate you. Thank you, Ken B, man. You're a great member of this team, of this community. Coach, man, listen, at the end of the day, right? You
yep,
are a coach, and you got some kids that you are currently coaching. All right. When you
yes,
have
sir.
conversations and they ask you, hey, coach, man, you think I can do X, Y, and Z? You think I can play at the next level? What do you tell those people? What do you tell those kids? Do you tell them the truth? Or are you upfront like Coach Prime and you say, hey, man, you ain't got it? Or do you
No,
because we're
no,
talking about Coach
no.
Prime and how.
You never kill a kid that has a goal or aberrations of playing on next level. But you be real with them. You tell them if a kid think he's
I'm
Alabama
sorry.
material.
Before you get too deep into your answer, I just want to let everybody know you're saying, how do I call in? Hot tips for tlpsports@gmail.com. Just look at the top of your screen in that corner right there, the top right of your screen. If you want to call into the show, if you want to come on and you want to voice your opinion about something that's going on, please email me, hot tips for tlpsports@gmail.com. You ain't going to get this type of show anywhere else. This is TLP. This is exclusive to TLP Sports Club, okay? I'm just saying. Go ahead, Coach.
Now, as a coach, my personal philosophy, you never tear a kid's dream down. The problem as adults is we don't dream no more, because we in reality we got to work, we got to pay bills, we got to take care of family. These
Ooh.
kids still got an opportunity to live out their dreams. They're young enough that they still can live out their dreams. So you don't tell a kid, oh no, you're not good enough to go play in college. But you do be real with him. If he's 5'7" and he wants to play quarterback, you're like, listen, you're not Alabama size. This is what they look for. These are the height,
Mm-hmm.
size, because every high school coach knows what most colleges are looking for: height, size, certain criteria that they want. It's just a fact of life. So if God didn't bless you with that, you say, look, I can't get you in Alabama. You're 5'7", son. Yeah, you got a nice little arm, you can run. They're not looking, Alabama or Colorado's not looking for a 5'7" quarterback. But there's this other school over here, like a Charlotte 49ers or maybe a Division II school, and you say, but I can get you a free education over here at this school. Now, you can go be a walk-on over here and pay, take out school loans, and if you think you can make it, hey, I'll cheer you on, or you can go here and pay for free, because
Mm.
they're willing to pay for your education. So as coaches, I think it's our job, especially high school coaches, we always got to be real with our kids and tell them what's real. Like, listen, I think this is where you could be at, and then let them figure it out, because at the end of the day, it's their decision. I'm blessed. I have one child. My son um, was too short to play football. He played a little bit, but he's a 5'7" safety. But he's a hell of a wrestler. So when it came time for college, I told
Mm-hmm.
him going into at the end of the junior year, I said, listen, we're getting more wrestling scholarships than football. I know you love football, But let's start putting our focus on here where the money at, because we want to go to college for free, right? And my son even told me he had 3 Division I wrestling scholarships, which are partials, but he had 4 rides in Division II. He told me that, Dad, why go to Division I school? I got to pay to play, where I can go Division II and go for free. I said, makes sense to me. And he had a hell of a career, has a hell of a career there. So as a parent, as a coach, especially as a high school coach, we have to be honest with these kids. Hello?
Yes, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay, I thought something cut off. Yeah, we have to be honest with them as coaches. Some coaches are gonna lie to them and tell them whatever they want to hear, and that's what the college coaches do. Sometimes the college coaches bring guys in and say, "Oh, you're gonna be my next star," and da 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 da, and then they got somebody else already lined up to come in right behind you to take your job. So I think I love the transfer portal. I love the NILs. I think if a kid can make money, go make your money, but make sure you're smart about what school you choose, because if you go chasing that bag and you choose the wrong school, yeah, you might make that quick money now, but in 4 years or 5 years when you graduate, don't get mad if you don't make it to the NFL and that was your ultimate goal, because you could have been in another school shining like you should.
Because the NIL money doesn't last always, and it's not that long. The
No, it's
NIL money
not.
is short money.
That's short money. Yeah, short money.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with getting paid in college. Like, I love what the young lady in college basketball did, Angel Reese. She was like, I'm not going to the WNBA early because I can stay in college and make another $2 or $3 million. That's smart, because she knows that the WNBA is not paying but no more than $200,000 a year. So she's like, nah, I'm gonna stay in school for a little while longer. Let me go make this bread. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think the high school kids, the college kids, think of it. You can think of it that way. If you're not ready, and they have projections on who's going to get drafted, where you're going to get drafted at. The problem is some kids don't like to live in reality when it comes time for that final answer. Am I going to make it to the NFL? Will I get drafted? You got kids coming out early that might be 4th round, 5th round picks, and they're like, well, I'm leaving early, I'm going to go to the NFL. And then what happens when you don't get picked? Then what do you do? Whereas if you'd have went to the school that was going to let you shine and grow and be the man to show your talent so that you can be drafted higher, so you can get drafted into the NFL, but you decided to take that NIL money, I hope you got a great investment plan with the NIL money, just in case it don't work out.
So do you think it's incumbent on these coaches to start teaching money management value? Because a lot of I'll just have to say it out straight, Black community, we don't learn about money.
We don't know it. That's what makes Coach Prime different from everybody else. That's what makes him different from any other college coach I've paid attention to.
Is he really teaching that? Is he teaching them how to manage their money?
He's not only teaching it, he's teaching them how to incorporate. Listen to sometime when he talked to the kids. He said it to Travis Hunter the other day when Travis Hunter went and got that car for his girlfriend at Tesla. He said, put it in your LLC. Who tells kids that? Think about that for a second. We go buy a car, we put it in our names, do we not? Coach Prime told this kid in college, don't put nothing in your name, put it in your LLC. He's teaching them game so that they can have that loan money forever. That's the thing that criticize him, talk about him, say what you want, say he's all about his sons and stuff. The man, he's a father at the end of the day, but he's trying to teach those kids at Colorado financial literacy, and he's telling them how to set up LLCs, businesses, and how to save their money. Now, what you do with it is on you. There's not a lot of colleges that do it. I'm not saying there isn't some that do it, but I will tell you this. I've been to Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Oregon. And I've done it in the last 15 years, been to those coach clinics. I've never heard none of them coaches at those clinics say anything about financial literacy. Now, they may have changed.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think, I got another caller on, Timothy Smith is going to be coming on soon, but do you think that Coach Prime's is good? I know Coach Prime, and you know Coach Prime, and we're supporters of Coach Prime. I started this channel because of Coach Prime. Do you think his good values, the good things that he does, and the things that he's trying to do and instill in these kids, because he knows that this is not a short-term game. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Do you think the great things that he's doing are being overshadowed by his bravado?
Yes. Because everybody wants to label him. Here's the thing. He has the best quote.
And before you go too deep into your answer, if we all know the values and the things that he's teaching, if he was white, would he be more celebrated for it?
Absolutely. 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 He says it all the time. He has a saying he says all the time. Do not let my confidence mess with your insecurity. Everybody that complains and talk bad about them, that's your insecurity. Take ego out of it. Like one of the things I heard Sir George say, and you can tell the way he's been raised. He said, I'm not finna hate on no man. In my neighborhood back in the day, Cat Williams used to have a saying, if you got 3 haters right now, I need you to get 3 more haters by the time Christmas get here. Because I need you to hate on me because you're going to make me better. When you hear these people talk bad about Prime, hating on him and stuff, it is an insecurity that you have within yourself. Don't get mad at him taking what God has blessed him with, and he has maximized it to the fullest of his ability. Now, not all of us are cut out to be a Coach Prime, but we can be our own Prime in our own household, whether we are executives at our jobs, or managers, or small business owners, or hell, fathers or mothers. We can be a prime time ourselves in our own little way. We don't have to be on his level, but don't let your insecurities make you hate that man for what he's trying to do. Because at the end of the day, he's trying to help these kids. Now, everybody gonna pull out, well, you know, he's all about himself. When have you heard him talk about himself? Like when I hear people say stuff like that, I'd be like, when has he said anything about himself? When has he boasted about himself? Oh, because he's confident. He say, we're going to win. We're going to do this. There's a lot of coaches that have done that. Jimmy Johnson did that back in the 90s when he got the Cowboys. Go back to one of his early interviews when they missed the playoffs. They said, Jimmy, if you don't make the playoffs, what would you do? Jimmy Johnson said, oh, we'll make the playoffs, and we're going to be good. So if Jimmy Johnson can say something like back in the 90s and they didn't kill him over it, why are we killing Coach Prime over it? Because he's doing the exact same thing. Game recognized game. It just changes over the years. That's
we got to
all it
leave it
is.
right. Coach, you just dropped some gems on me, but we're going to have to leave it right there, man. You always dropping gems when you come on this show, man. You about to be a regular. I'm about to make you a residence up in here, man. Come on, man.
I love your show, brother. I love your show, brother. That's all. I love your show.
Thank you so much for coming on again, man. This is your second time coming on. I appreciate you when you always come on because you bring the truth and you bring the funk, man, like James Brown. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Let me bring on my next guest, Mr. Timothy.
God bless.
Have a good one. Oh, Timothy just logged off. Oh, Timothy just went away. Okay, so I think I'm going to bring back Mr. Red Panda. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
All right, my Timothy logged off right when I was about to go to him, but I think he had to do something. But you are right back with me, man. I know you wanted to drop you were like, listen, man, let's clear some things up, okay? Let me give you an opportunity because you do have a lot of introspective, comments to say. So go ahead and say what you got to say, brother.
No, I just thought Coach did an excellent job, man. Shout out to him and what he's doing with the kids and stuff like that. The only thing I just want to add, man, I don't think as a culture we understand the difference between NIL and the collective. And I think that's one of the biggest things. I think a lot of us are telling the kids to get the money, to get the bag, but we forgot recently there was a player who had a NIL deal that turned out to be a bad deal because he had to give up like 15% of his salary for 10 years. So there's a lot of this thing that people need to break down. The difference with NIL and the reason why Shadors and Travis will get those things is because they have to do with the image and being in commercials and being able to be brandable.
That's literally what NIL means.
And I don't think the kids understand that. What they are talking about is collective money. And you cannot compete with an Alabama, a Texas, a Georgia, and because they've been having that stronghold on the booster game from before it was legal. It's a whole different ball game. And I think what Prime is getting them to understand, like, look, you could get this crumbs now and don't make it to the NFL. And a matter of fact, I want to correct something.
Okay.
What Prime said was, look, hey, I want somebody who wants to come to the school, understand like they trying to go to the NFL. Like he broke it down, and then we could talk business. I want people to go back and look at the interview. He said we can talk business at the end. And I think people just heard, well, he's not giving out any money. That's not true. He said, I want you to want to come here. I don't want it the other way around of paying you to come here. And
a lot of
what
other coaches are pulling gas on that too, letting them know, hey, you heard what he said. He said he ain't got no money, so they're pumping gas into the other kids. You know what I'm saying? And they're not, and they're drawing them away from Prime, and they're kind of like I guess interpreting his message and then selling them so that they can go away from Prime.
But there's a lot of people participate in that. Stephen A. Smith, what he did was very disingenuous because he caused some recruits to pull back. Why would you say he's going to Texas? You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to understand that
he didn't say he was going to Texas. I think what he said was that he should take the job. He should, not he was going.
Correct it. You're right. But what just like how I just heard that differently, parents hear it differently too. Kids hear it differently too. We don't actually listen for factual information. Our emotions play a lot into it. I just did that live. You see what I'm saying? So imagine when people have a family they're trying to get out of circumstances. We're not necessarily listening to facts. And because it's Prime, there's going to be a constant dirt throwing. And we got to be wise to how we participate. That's just the point I was trying to make earlier. Let's critique him about coaching. Let's critique him about what he's not doing or areas they could excel at. When we start talking about the money aspect of things, understand what he's saying and go back and listen. And I think a lot of times we interpret what he's saying. He's been kind of telling us along the way. He really kind of been. And if I was to push back on some of the season, like if I'm a offensive coordinator, and why would I be looking for a job in the middle of the season? There's a lot of missing pieces we didn't put together yet. Coach didn't know none of these guys.
You're talking about Sha Lewis.
Yeah, it's the growing pains of the first year. Now, I will tell everybody, I want you to be as harsh as you want to be after 4 games of the next season. The reason why I say that is he has a bunch of people that is going into the fall, that is going into conditioning training and everything. So he's actually, for the first time, building a team. If you know anything about football, this is actually the first time the team is actually building. So after 4 games of next season, then you can truly say, well, the team is X or Prime is X. Because now he's building on the foundation. There wasn't a foundation. Okay. There was a resemblance of one. And I think we have to understand football culture. And it's going to happen every year because seniors going to leave. And we're not realizing that every single coach has to adjust to the portal. So there's players that are going to leave from Colorado and go somewhere
One second
else.
before you say that final thought, I got JD on the line. JD, I'll be with you in a second. Go ahead, Panda, say wrap up your last thought so I can bring this guy on. He's been waiting for a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool. So I'm just saying the biggest thing we got to understand, we don't want a lot of these young kids to be in situations where they go on, they progress to the NFL, and the NIL deals that they sign, they taking 15% of their paycheck. So there's some wisdom in what coach is doing. And I think a lot of times when we're on the outside looking in, we forget that he's been a part of every aspect of the game. So when you're doing deals, he's good at that, clearly. When he's playing the positions, he's good at that, clearly. So I think we could critique him on the game, but some of the extra stuff ain't really about the game. It's about people's perception of it.
People getting too personal. People are getting too personal. All right, man, look, I always appreciate you coming on. Listen, man, you are going to be a resident of the show. Thank you for coming on again, and thank you for staying in and you're trying to say, listen, man, let me clear some things up before I come up out here. I appreciate you coming back on. All right, man?
That's what's up, man. Good show as usual, man.
Thank you, man. Have a good day. All right, let's bring JD on. JD's been waiting patiently. Thank you so much for joining the show. You are on with Harry B, TLP at noon. What up with you?
Hey, what's going on?
JD, what up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Nice to meet you, Harry B.
All right,
I just want to say, I've been listening for a little while. It's a couple of things that I want to say. Like I'm a Coach Prime fan. I'm a Deion Sanders fan. I'm a Deion Sanders fan.
Mm-hmm.
The football player, the icon, the legend, the father, and all that.
Okay.
But I'm also a fan of football, and I'm also, I'm also, I'm a Coach. I'm a Deion Sanders fan, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Prime Met neither, because there's a lot of Prime Mets. You know what I'm saying?
What does that mean? Break that down for me.
It's a lot of people that it's like, if you it's to me, what a Prime Met is somebody that just cheering for the because of who he is as a person, as an icon, as a legend, and it's like everything he does. It's just like they just super fanned out. You know what I'm saying? It's like
So what you're trying to say that he's not beyond reproach.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
He can take some of this stuff too, right?
Right, exactly. Because my thing is, as now I'm just talking about him as a strictly football coach, because like everything I admire everything he do. You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about strictly coaching and how he is as a coach, you have to understand, like, especially being a newer, younger football coach in the college rankings, because we got to understand, yeah, he been coaching, but he hasn't been coaching college football that long. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you think he's a good coach?
Do I think he's a good coach?
Yes, that's the question.
Do I think as a football coach,
you said as a football coach.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, because after if you play the season out, I'm just talking strictly football, right?
A football coach. Do you think he's a good football coach? That's the question.
I think as far as X's and O's, I don't think so. But as far as
you don't think he's a good football coach? So what did he do at Jackson State? What how do you categorize what he did at Jackson State?
See, we got to understand, right? Because I actually played football and I played at HBCU level. So my thing is, right? So at Jackson State is different, because you had a lot of talent. So you was
football so different at Jackson State? I don't get it. Why do people say that?
Now football is football, and I hate when people say that too, because I play.
Yeah, it doesn't sound weird when you say it's different.
I play football, and I do kind of hate the fact of the whole talent thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you can play. Like, some of the greatest players that ever played the game of football came from HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? Walter Payton, Jerry Rice. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is, as like, at that level, he was basically to dominate his opponents, because of he was getting talents from the portal, from these higher programs. So you really was just out there on talent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, hold on. Before you get too deep into your comments, right? Let's qualify what being a good coach is. All right, because I think it's important so that we can get this answer right. A good coach, all right, a good coach is a teacher, because I think a lot of people, they don't understand when we say, hey, a coach is a teacher. That's what a coach is. They teach and they inspire. All right. So when you are at the Pee Wee League, you come in, and if you're teaching the kids, hey, this is what hitting is. Let's line up. And when this guy starts running, you're going to get up, and then you're going to run into them, and you're going to hit them, and you're going to wrap your arms around them. And then you go to the high school level, and you teach the same, you try to teach the same thing, and then you start getting into the playbook. So that's the X's and O's. But a coach's job is to motivate, inspire, teach, or teach, motivate, inspire. That's what a coach is. You said that he's not a good coach because of X's and O's. But
I think he does. No. Okay. I think he does certain things well as a coach. I think he does the teaching part, the motivating. I think he does the inspiring. I think he does, like,
so then he's a good coach then.
I think he's getting the best out of each player that he can. You know what I'm saying?
He can't be good and then still need a lot of learning, or he can't be good, but then he's still.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm like, you asked me, he's a good coach. Like, I think he's doing okay I think he's doing okay, because to one side, I think, like, the motivation, he's doing that part well. But when I'm talking about the actual football acumen of it, when we talk about on the field, when I watch the product,
X's and O's. primarily.
When I watch the product on the field, when you watch from game 1 to the last game, or usually, even though people had this thing about last year's record and this and that and the third and the Colorado culture, you gotta understand, like at the end of the day, you you even if you take on a bad team, you like to see improvement throughout game. You know what I'm saying? Like from game to game. And you watch from game 1 when they had basically no penalties, they was well conditioned, until when you watch from the last game, they was heavily penalized, the most penalized team in the in the FBS. You know what I'm saying? Like they just, after a while, you can tell between like the last 3 to 4 games of the season, like it was just like you can tell that from week 1 until them last couple games, it was a whole completely different team. It was a whole complete, like, usually teams progress. I don't care how bad you are, you get better. You commit less penalties. You look more competitive. Like you look like what's going on. And it just, at a while, it just like it was a lot of selfishness going on, and it's just like a lot of, it's just about me, me, me. And that's you could tell that playing in the games. You can clearly tell on TV.
So okay, I think when we're kind of generalizing, when we're saying when we throw stuff out, because I just want to qualify something about commenting online, right? Sometimes people are busy and they just kind of say stuff. Sometimes it's in the spirit of trolling. Sometimes they just want to say, but they can't say more than that. They just kind of say stuff. So when I ask the question, hey, is he a good coach, or do you think he's a good coach? I think the idea of a good coach, it comes from not just the X's and O's. Because if you can't say, okay, are you a good driver? If I start going to be like, well, when you make your turns or when you do X, Y, and Z, then that means that you're not a good driver. No, I can be a good driver, but maybe I need to work on turning differently. Maybe I need to work on my signals. Maybe I need to work on this, but I'm still a good driver because I'm a safe driver. You know what I'm saying? I get to work on time. I get there safely. So that makes me a good driver. Am I an excellent driver? Maybe I'm not excellent because I don't do this and I don't do that. And I need to work on those things to be an excellent driver. But as far as what defines a good person, that means that you do majority of the things that a coach does or that a driver does, you do them very well. So that would qualify you as a good coach or a good driver.
I can understand what you're saying. I think he has the qualities of a good coach. I think he has the qualities of a good coach. Like you see things just based off his life experience that makes him like a football coach. You know what I'm saying? Because there was like that other guy, the coach that was just speaking a few minutes ago. He said something that I agree with. Like what makes Coach Prime, what makes Deion Sanders different from any head coach that's coaching college football from D1 all the way to D3 is he's the only football coach that's coaching right now that has lived the experience of, I was a player, I've been to the NFL, I'm successful, I'm a legend, and no coach can say that right now. Like he's lived everything that these kids or that people, like he's lived the life
Other
of
coaches
experience.
that other coaches have lived. Yeah.
Right. He's the only coach to ever do that. He's been the pinnacle of success, from an athletic standpoint and a success standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
but like I think he has the qualities of a good coach. He has to motivate, he has to teach, he has to inspire, he has those things. But being a good
What does
coach,
he, in your opinion, what does he have to do to score a good coach phrase or term, to score a good coach pattern from you, to get
I
that
think
good coach
okay.
from you?
I just think that, like, okay, some of the things that he says, like sometimes we understand his bravado, his his flamboyancy and stuff like that. But sometimes you have to have just a tad bit humility. I'm not telling him not to be him. I would never. He won't even. You know what I'm saying? Like I never would tell nobody not to be themselves. What I'm saying is you have to have a little bit of the of humility, a little bit of decorum, and certain.
That's in your recipe for good coach.
No. This is.
Well,
I'm sorry.
the question that I have for you right now is, what scores him the label of a good coach from your standpoint?
What scores him the label of a good coach?
Yeah, when would you be satisfied to say, I finally say he's a good coach? What are the things he has to do to correct for you to say, fine, I'm okay now to say he's a good coach?
I would just say, that the people that are not the players on his team that are not, maybe as, doesn't maybe have that dog in them or whatever the case may be. Like you have to, they may need a little extra push, because my thing is to go out in the media and just to kind of bash them is not really the good signs of a good coach, especially when you're trying to get the best out of teammates for your son, that your son is the quarterback behind. That's not the signs of a coach. Like to go out in the media and say, "Oh well, I can replace my O-line." You know what I'm saying? We need this, and the third. Like I don't think
But
that's.
do you hear what you're saying? Listen, okay. The reason why I'm asking these line of questions is because when I asked you if you're a good coach, you went straight to X's and O's. But now that I'm asking you, what is it going to take for him to be a good coach? Now you're going to the extracurricular stuff. Now
Okay, maybe, or maybe I should say, I think he's a
you see what
good
I'm
coach.
saying?
I
Like,
don't, I don't, I don't think
what is
he's
it ever going to be?
I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think he's a great coach. He's a good
I didn't
coach.
say great coach. I said good.
I
Just
think
good.
he's a good coach. I think he's good. I just think
So
he's good.
so are you changing your position?
I would say, yeah. I would say if you bring it to your definition, what you think a good coach is, that part of it, then yeah, I would say he's a good coach.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we just clarifying it. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that we're clarifying your position that he's a good coach, because now, because you were going into a whole nother dimension when we were talking just X's and O's, but now when I ask you the opposite question, what qualifies him in your opinion? Now you're going into he needs to push the other guys. He needs to stop talking to the kids. The same. You know what I'm saying? So I just
Yeah,
wanted to make sure
if
that
you're going by
he,
well, like, if he was going by what you say is a good coach, then I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say he's a good coach.
But when we describe what the symptoms or the things, the elements that makes good, do you agree with those elements? Like if you were just describing what good would be, like, okay, if he does, let's just say 5 out of 10 things, or let's just say he does 6 out of 10, he's a good coach, but he needs to improve on 3 more or 4 more to be great.
Yeah, I would say that, because like look at an example. You might have a coach, right? You might have a coach that I don't know. I don't know if familiar with the NFL. I'm pretty sure you are. Maybe a football guy. Like let's take Josh McDaniels for example. Like he might be a good coach. It was called for X and O's, but he wasn't a good coach as far as motivating the players, like as your description of a good coach, because obviously it was
No, you
division.
can always improve. You can be good, but everybody can improve. Improving doesn't mean that you're not good. Needing to improve on a specific aspect of something you're doing, it doesn't mean that you're not good at it. If you're a bricklayer, you can lay bricks, but then every now and then some of the bricks are shifting, or you don't know how to plaster that well. It doesn't mean that you're not a good bricklayer. It just means that you need to improve on laying bricks.
Okay.
I gotta say pause because I'm from New York. Pause.
So what? So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So did you watch a lot of Colorado games this year?
The whole channel is dedicated to Colorado. I watched every game and I streamed it.
Okay, so
I was at the TCU game, and then I was at the spring game in Boulder.
Okay, that's what's up. So what from your analysis, like what do you think? From what you saw, like what would be your take? Because this is my first time on your channel, so I haven't really followed up. This is my first time, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for coming on, JD. Well, okay. So I think Coach Prime is a really good coach. I think he's very, very good. I think he's going to be excellent once he starts working on the different aspects of FBS football. FBS football is more politics than actual football, because
Right.
Coach Prime he's an X's and O's guy. He's excellent at X's and O's. He knows it more than anybody that's ever that's he's dealing with, even negatively or positively. He knows it. You cannot be one of the best football players and not know X's and O's. All right. So he's really good because he crosses the box, or he checks the box of many of the aspects or the elements that makes what a coach is. He checks too many of those boxes for him not to be a really good coach. Okay. On the flip side of that, FBS football comes with a whole nother side of elements that his personality, the way he is, how truthful that he is, and all of those things, it's really telling, because you can't be as honest as he is. You can't be as pure or spirit as he is. Coach Prime is a pure spirit. You're now at a level where everything is scrutinized. You're now at a level where you're at the media level now. In Jackson State, you didn't have such a big media platform, but now you're at a level where you being so truthful and you being the person that you are, you're going to have to be more diplomatic, more politically correct than the way that he's been. So he checks a lot of those boxes as a good coach, and people would not give him that credit. And I can have that conversation all day. But what I know about him is that he's a dang good coach. All right. But he has to learn the politics of FBS because he's a true spirit. He's too clean. Like he says, he rides too clean. Bruh, you can't just go out here and just be talking the way you talk because it's now everything you say is scrutinized. So if he makes some of those adjustments, then I would say it's going to really help him better as far as like what goes out into the media. Because I mean, he's going to learn those things. But trust me, Coach Prime is going to find a way to win because natural born winners always find a way. Right now, the only reason why people have the microphone and why they even say some of the things is because he didn't win like he really wanted to. So so that's why the people are saying he's not a good coach or even questioning.
So, all right, I agree with just about what you said, but I just got a question for the last point.
Okay.
So you said about the microphone and people have basically they were scrutinizing because he didn't win. But do you think that some of that was self-inflicted?
No.
You don't think it was self-inflicted?
Well, I would be disingenuous if I said no, totally, because I think some of the decisions, I didn't follow Coach Prime's first term at the college level. I followed him the entire time in high school, but I didn't follow him at Jackson State. So I don't really know how he coached at Jackson State. But
I did. I ever since he's been coaching college football, Jackson State to Colorado,
my point that I'm trying to
watch every game.
But okay, cool. But this is the point that I have. I want to answer your question. I can't really say because what I'm saying is he made some mistakes doing this season. You're the head coach. So if Sean doesn't want to run the ball, it's incumbent upon you to tell him to run the ball. If he didn't know that, if he didn't want to run the ball, then we have to ask him, hey, coach, why did you not want to run the ball? So I've said a lot of those things. So now I'm like, okay, coach, I need to know where you stand on certain things. I would like to ask him a few questions before I can finally say my answer. But I'm like, Coach Prime, I have a few questions for you because you didn't either take over as a head coach because everything's going to rise and fall on you because you're the head coach. So if Sean and the O-line are taking all the hit, then what about you as the leader? Because you were the one that you got the biggest microphone. So why are you coming on here in the press conferences, every press conference and saying we're one-dimensional, we need to fix that? Why are you even telling me that? Why don't you fix it? Because we had like 12 games. We said that when we started losing, but then 6 games, you never did anything about it. So I didn't see it. That's why that would be disingenuous for me to say that. But I think he has a few things to fix. But I'm never going to ride with people say he's not a good coach. He's a dang good coach. He really is.
Well, I was just asking, was it self-inflicted? Not because it's no coach that ever coached any sport they're gonna sit here and tell you, you know what I'm saying, like, we gonna lose. Of course, every coach is gonna tell you we here to win, we here to change the culture.
He put a target. Did he put a target on his own back? Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you come in, like when you come in and you say, you know, your whole slogan, your whole moniker is "We coming, I'm coming," right? And you know, and for a while it was looking like, you know, when they started 3-0, it was looking like, okay, he really, you know what I'm saying? But then when you down late, you know, when y'all start losing and things not looking so good, now is, you know, well, y'all know we was deficient, y'all know this, y'all know that. So it's just like, you know, that's why I said some things you have to go into, you have to, you know what I'm saying, you have to have a little bit of, you know, humility, because at the end of the day, FBS football and FCS football is two different, you know, things. You know what I'm saying? You're not, because a lot of the kids, a lot of them kids, I'm not gonna say they don't really, a lot of the kids that he's trying to recruit, they are not really too, a lot of these parents, I would say, of these kids, they don't really care about, you know, the some of the things that goes on, like the flashiness and the flamboyance. Like, I mean, of course, everybody is easier to see because there's more exposure. But like these kids want to make it to the NFL too. At the same time, they want to be developed in the right way. So it's just like when you start talking about NIL and we not ATMs and stuff like that. When you're trying to compete against these Georgias and these Alabamas and these Ohio States and these Michigans, like they like, all right, well, that don't make sense to me. You know what I don't know. That's just my take on it. You created this big target, then when it didn't go your way, you just try to walk the steps back at the end, and that was just like kind of like a big issue.
Yeah, that's the point that I would agree with you on. I would say, the target was because of Prime. Coach, I don't know that Deion Sanders would have done that, but Prime, because of who Prime is, the bravado that all comes with it, and I was cheering it on. I'm like, yeah, let's go, Coach, let's do that. But I made like 2 videos, and I'm like, did we just put a target on our own backs? But like Love Move said earlier, hey, you put that target on us, but I don't know that the kids and the players that you have in this in that locker room were able or were even able to back up that target that you put on their back.
That's what I get ready to say. At Jackson State, they was a little bit more about it. You know what I'm saying? It was a little bit, like, a coach. If you would have said that at Jackson State, even though like that's not worried about the level of football, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like when he said something to me, they went out and back up coach. You know what I'm saying? They said we was gonna beat you by 21. They went and beat you by 30. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
does culture have anything to do with that?
Huh?
Does culture have anything to do with that?
Yeah, for sure. Because it's when your coach says some things, you gotta, all right, man. Like your coach is he the lead person, he the head man. So
let's
like,
get him when he's like, yo, I'm about to go whip your butt, and everybody's like, yeah, let's get him.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like, man, that's our coach. We down the ride. We on what he on. And I think at Jackson State there was more about that. And at Colorado, they wasn't really about that, and they didn't have the talent to back it up. They didn't have the depth to back it up. So, he was talking, and what he had to back him up wasn't what he thought he had to back him up. So now it's like, dang, I just talked this big talk, but I don't have the people to walk this big walk. You know what I'm saying?
So he realized that when he realized that in the middle of the season, like
it was too late.
Like I just wrote a check that we can't cash.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, you come in and your first day, like, I'm bringing my Louis, and then you find out the Louis ain't from Louis. It's from DH Gate, and it's like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the authentic Louis. This DH Gate Louis. You know what I mean?
No, the Louis was from Canal Street, bro.
Yeah, like like
in New York.
Yeah, I gotta. You know what I'm saying? Like you got. The only thing you got at the Louis probably you got your son probably a Louis wallet and Travis a Louis keychain, but everything else, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty it. That's pretty much it. So it's like, going forward, hopefully he can get the talent, but you can get the talent because at the end of the day,
JD, let me go out on a limb here. We almost done with the show. We got about 8 more minutes for the show, but I'm gonna give you the mic. But let me go out on a limb here, bro. Is it like people are gonna take this the wrong way? But are we different when we just black people are different? We hear things different because it seemed like we wanted to go there. But Jackson State, I feel like that environment when you in that environment, because we talk smack, we do that barbershop talk, right? Where we talk a lot of smack. We in Maryland we used to call it joning. We joan, right? So like, bro, like Coach Prime, I felt like Coach Prime was joning. So do you feel like the kids knew that, they felt that at Jackson State, but then when you come over here to PWI, they don't know what joning means. They don't know, so when you start talking, you in your black element, do you feel like, man, they was like, yeah, coach, let's go get their ass, let's go get them. Like, so they bought into that, but then coach tried to come over here, Joan, and talk his smack, not in a black environment, and that it didn't reciprocate.
It didn't resonate. It didn't resonate. Like, just like we could go prime example, right? Prime example. We can bring up a game. We can talk about that even though Colorado did win this game, but the Colorado State game, when they talk about the shades and the sunglasses, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they barely won that game. You know what I'm saying? They was, but at the end of the day, like your coach done talked all this, and you think that's gonna rile up the troops, and then you get to the game, and you getting punched in the mouth, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, like, oh man, my coach was the one talking. It's not me. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like you've never seen a team that wasn't talented that's been on everybody hit list, and that's what Colorado was this year. They was one. We've
That's
come to
because of
find
that.
out
That's because of that target. That's because of
yeah,
that
you know what I'm
target.
saying? Like, you never seen a losing team with a target on their back ever in sports history. You never seen a losing team beat everybody's Super Bowl. Never. Tell me where you seen that at.
No, I ain't never seen it.
You never seen it. You never seen it.
They kind of relax. They come in there and then they surprise them. Sometimes everybody's like, oh, we're gonna win this game, and then next you know they come in and the losing team smacks them in the mouth.
Yeah, I mean, like from I would say from Oregon. I mean, not even Oregon, but like every team they played, they Super Bowl. Like, it don't matter. The records was out the window. Like, they wanted to make a statement, like, like, this is a different level. There's levels to this. You know what I'm saying?
You just said it's levels, so I'll throw this in there so we can close out. I don't know where you from or if you ever been in the hood or whatever, but
from Philly. I'm from Philly.
Oh, you from Philly? Oh, let's go. So let's go, Brooklyn. Let's go. So okay, I'm like, okay. So I'm like, like when you go into certain parts of Philly, you know who to ride with. You know who's gonna be in that car. You know who you're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You like, you about this life? Like, nah, you get out the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you like, if we were to put it in that language, we're like, yo, coach, bruh, like what you did this year, bruh, you went to West Philly, right? Or you went to South Philly, and you thought that JoJo and Kim was actually going to hold you down, but you weren't riding with Jermaine and them. You was riding with the wrong team, but you talked like you told them dudes in South Philly that you was coming, so they was ready to meet you, but you didn't. You weren't riding with the right dudes.
Right. Just a prime example, like Boys in the Hood, when the dude was like, let me out the car. You know, he had a lot of them. Hey, they should have let them out the car. You know what I'm saying? He was bringing dudes that wasn't ready to shoot back. You know what I'm saying, Coach?
They're not shooters. He didn't have shooters.
Yeah, he didn't have no shooters.
He was talking big game, but he didn't have no shooters.
It created this environment as like,
and everybody wants to come after you in the hood because you're talking big talk, and everybody's ready to come out at you in the hood. But then when they finally come, they show up and they don't see nobody.
Right, exactly. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I said.
At Black Show, here we go.
At Jack, know what I'm saying? At Jackson, it was that mentality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I coach, when whatever he on, we on. And then at Colorado, it wasn't that. He had a couple shooters ready to shoot, and everybody else is ready to get out the car. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, as far as, the football acumen of it, like, you could tell some of the players, they felt as though they weren't getting their fair shake at it, at their opportunity. They came there expecting more playing time or more exposure, and it didn't go their way. The chips didn't fall their way. I heard a lot of people on a lot of different shows say, talk about favoritism. I hear a lot of people talk about that, it's just the Deion show, the Coach Prime, it's selfish, and he already had his time to shine. But at the end of the day, like, as a football guy, because I love football, I do want to see him do well. But at the end of the day, like, as a football coach, you're gonna have to do, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to have more. You're gonna have to have a little bit more decorum and a little bit more humility, especially when you
either get more shooters to back up what you say, or you're gonna have to calm it down. Is that what you're ending with? Because if he has the shooter, he can talk all night, right?
I put it like this. You're going to have to calm down until you get the shooters. You're going to have to shoot. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Until you get the shooters, you're going to have to calm down.
Like, you can't talk the same talk if you ain't got the shooters, because you can't go to no game and you show up and you like, we about to smack you on the mouth, and you got Shiloh, who he's a headache game, right? And Shiloh's like, y'all small, y'all boys are small. But Shiloh is like his dad. He didn't know that them other kids are scared.
Yeah,
he didn't know that those other kids were scared, and when the fight started, they were gonna run away at Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, until you get them dogs that you've been talking about that you need, you ain't gonna be able to have that same level of bravado or whatever you want to call it, whatever the
Yeah,
word.
you're gonna have to curb that. You're gonna have to curb that enthusiasm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, especially in them trenches, because man, you gotta think, man, your son a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Your son got a fractured back. So, like, man, to get in, and the last thing I want to say is just like, about that whole NIL situation. Like, well, in my opinion, I think he gonna get all the athletes, the corners, the quarterbacks, and all that type of stuff. You know, them skill positions. But like, what you really want to do, in my opinion, when it comes to this NIL and this and all that, you got to entice them big boys, because the big boys is the ones is the gonna be the star of the show when it comes to Colorado, because it don't matter how good a the skill position you got, if you don't have the protection to show it off. So that's when it comes to that NIL money. And he talking about we not the ATM. When it comes to them big boys, you gonna better turn it to ATM, because that's the only way they showing up.
Yo, I appreciate you, man. We are at 3:00, so thank you so much for calling in, man. Please keep the email whenever you want to call in. You see the shows are on, call in, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for having me. You have a good day. Nice
You do
talking
the
with
same.
you.
JD out, man. Guys, man, look, we talked about a lot today. So Coach Prime needs some more shooters, like my guest JD was saying. Coach Prime needs to have more shooters if he gonna talk that talk. I don't know how many of y'all from the hood, or how many of y'all are in the hood or ever lived around the hood. Okay, I'm not talking to black stuff, because we're in Brooklyn, all right, on Saratoga Avenue in Brooklyn, guys. Listen, there were white people right there on the block starting to infiltrate downtown Brooklyn. If you're going to be talking in the hood like I'm about that life, how many of y'all walked into a fight, okay, or even went to go call your big bro showed up and you was talking all that smack? Oh, my big bro, when I get him, my big bro gonna do this, he gonna do that, and you talking, and the other dude's like, all right, go get your big bro then. I'll be waiting right here. Go ahead, get your big bro. All right, so you go home, you all excited. You're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna get my big bro. You go, you get your big bro, and you don't talk your big bro way up. And yeah, we coming. All right, and my big bro's a Louis. All right, when he get here, he gonna smack you all up and down. Your big bro shows up, and he ain't a Louis. Your big bro shows up, and that little kid give him the works. He give him the business. Okay. That little man gave your big bro the business because he had heart. That little man had heart, and he took you and your big bro, and he shut y'all up. He was like, that's your big bro? Let's go. And he gives y'all the business, if you know what I'm talking about. So, like, if you're going to be talking that talk, like my guy JD said, look, man, if you need more shooters, you're going to need your big bro to come and be about that business. Your big bro going to need more heart if you're going to talk it. So that's what a lot of people are saying, okay? People start off with saying, I love Prime, but, man, he ain't have enough shooters. And Love Moose says in the beginning of the show, Love Moose said, listen, man, Coach Prime, he was like big bro. He was like that little youngin that was talking about big bro being the man that was going to smack him up. And he was like, big bro is my Louis. But when they showed up, big bro didn't have that. Big bro was not about that life. That's what it basically boiled down to. All right. So if you're going to talk that talk, then you better have the shooters to back you up, especially when you in this game at this level, or especially when you in specific hoods like the FBS hood. You in this hood, a lot of dudes here, they just as tough as you. So all that smack you talking, you better be ready with them shooters, because other teams got shooters too. So if you talking all that smack, you better be able to back it up. And if you can't back it up, then maybe you need to pipe it down just a little bit until you are able to back it up, and then start talking your talk. And then we're going to be riding with you. We're going to be right. Anytime you say something, we're like, yeah, Coach Prime, go ahead, let's get them. Because we know we got a bunch of hogs on that line. And anything you say, Shador's going to be back there falling asleep, going to sleep, and like he going to wake up, throw the ball 50 yards down the line, 80-yard bombs. He going to be able to do that. And I don't care how many times you say anything. Whatever you say, we riding. because you got the shooters, AKA whatever you want to call them, and they're ready to go. That's what it's all about. So we broke it down today in black language for y'all. All right. And I ain't changing that. All right. And I ain't changing that for you. That's what this show is about today. I can be me. Coach Prime can be him. And I ain't got to change that. So all the other Colorado channels, even though we are the PBPWI, that's how you break it down in black language. We here. We ain't going nowhere. You heard? You're gonna have to deal with the barbecue talk. You're gonna have to deal with the hood talk. Okay? You're gonna have to deal with the rappers. You gotta deal with all of us. Because when I started this channel, I told y'all that we coming. I told y'all that we was a lot of us. Okay? We was a lot of us. I told y'all it's plenty of us. And we ain't just a few of us. We coming and we different. All of us is different. I'm African. Some are African American. Some are from the Caribbeans. We coming and we different. And you're going to have to deal with all of us. Because we're not just a few of us. We're an army. And we are here now. So now you got to deal with it. We here. Shee. This was a great show, guys. Yo, we wrapped up the week with a bang today. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. Okay? I ain't holding none of y'all besides my wife, okay? I won't hold you, man. We had a great show. Let me get some fire emojis in the daggone chat, man. Come on, y'all. We had a great show. We had so many guests. This was like a epic. Like, this was the most amount of guests I've ever had. I had multiple people even going back and forth, man. Listen, TLP Live at noon was a success. I'm going to continue this, but I'm also going to be adding some night shows where TLP at night, we're going to continue the same energy, but we're going to have to add more people because most people are off work and they can come and they can talk. This is the platform where you get to add your voice to the conversation without having to, you know what I'm saying, be limited to your phone, just, saying a few things and then pressing send and then waiting for somebody to respond and then saying it again. You can respond right here, real time. TLP hot tips for TLP sports at gmail.com. This is the show that allows you, okay? The fans, the fan base, my club members, my BWBs, my bandwagon buffs, the Buff Nation fan, where you can come and you can voice your opinion, whether it's contrary to what I'm saying, whether it's whatever it is you want to say, as long as we keep it respectful. This here is the platform to do it at. We're going to keep growing, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't. So please bless the show. I love you guys. I'm going to have to leave it there, but let me say goodbye to all my people here. Panda Bear, everybody saying fire. I see the fire emojis. Thank you so much. Woo-wee. Yo, thank you, Ken B. Ken B says, great show. KMS, salute to you. Skip Bayless Jr., salute to you. Try That Texas Truth, salute to you, man. All right. The lab boy, no lab boy, it's 37, salute to you. Surf, you was in the building. Sean Kemp. Oh, my bad, Sean Kemp. I didn't see you in here. I met you in Boulder. We took a photo together. All right. Who else is in this building? Hey, man. Virtual Authority. What up with you? Dyslexia. My Liberian dyslexia. Viral Authority. What up with you? Peter Investor. Thank you so much. Great show. I appreciate you. You guys made this show very successful. We are 8 minutes over time, but you deserve it. And thank you so much for making this a success. But I'm going to have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there, that's the Liberian perspective. That's TLP Sports Club. Brah. Good day, everybody. Thank you. I love you. Peace out.